This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Some optimism emerging on one of the Lions' key additions this offseason. ESPN's Field Yates reports an MRI on defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson's injured right knee showed no structural damage. He's considered day-to-day. Bills' key special teams and offensive player Nyheim Hines expected to miss the season, injured his left ACL when he was struck by a jet ski. Training camp continues for the Chiefs without all-pro defensive tackle Chris Jones has yet to report as he seeks a new contract, looking for a deal to make him the second highest paid player in the NFL at his position. And he deserves that, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
The only two players on this team more valuable to the Kansas City Chiefs than Chris Jones are Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. And we know that both of those future Hall of Famers are so important to what they do offensively. Chris Jones is that exact thing on the defensive side of the football.
Second overall pick in the NFL draft, C.J. Stroud agreed to his rookie deal with the Texans. Fourth overall pick, Anthony Richardson, agreed to his rookie contract with the Colts.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Hey, shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Hope you had an awesome weekend. We are locked loaded with a ton to do. Shea Dixon, Ross Dellenger next hour. Terrell previewing Saints camp in hour number 3. Glad you are here. Saints rookies reported last week. The full Saints roster will report on Tuesday, and the Saints will be on the practice field Wednesday for the beginning of camp. It is stunning, but it is here, and the Saints may very well have another addition before they hit the practice field. Reported earlier on Monday. Okay, thank you. Yes, let's do this. Let's start as we do every day. Hit it, Muse. My bad.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
I just get so excited. I'm like shot out of a cannon. You know what I mean?
You just can't wait. I mean, you've prepped all day long, and here come 3 hours. You're just ready. You're like, let's go.
I'm ready.
Lights on. Here we go.
And I got to stop.
Yep.
But anyway, all right, so let's do it. Early Monday, Adam Schefter reported former Pro Bowl guard Trey Turner is visiting the New Orleans Saints today. So I am doing my dead level best to take off my purple and gold glasses to give you an unbiased opinion on this possibility. So we all know Trey Turner played at LSU. He went to St. Aug. He was a dominant interior lineman. He left LSU after his sophomore season as a redshirt sophomore and went to the draft, was taken by Carolina, became a dominant interior player for the Panthers. He has made 5 Pro Bowls during his career. He signed a massive contract, a 4-year, $45 million extension with the Panthers. And each of the last 3 seasons, Trey Turner has found himself with a different team. He's become a journeyman and now will be on his 4th team in as many seasons this year, provided he is signed and plays somewhere. So I am trying to look at this as objectively as possible. So let me look at some of the pros and cons of the Saints, working out Trey Turner and potentially bringing Trey Turner into the fold. First of all, one thing that we know, this is not me guessing, this is something that we have seen the Saints do as a practice. The Saints value guys that have experience in the NFC South, right? We've just seen this quite a bit over the years, from a guy like Jameis Winston to guys in the defensive backfield to, when they went and added linebackers from Carolina or defensive backs from Tampa. We've just seen the Saints do this a bunch. So if you know the player and the player knows you and they know the division and 6 of your games are going to be against the division, it's just what the Saints value. And they've shown this time and time again. So the fact that Trey Turner started his career in Carolina, played the first handful of seasons with the Panthers, he knows the Saints know him, he knows the division, all that is very good. Okay, so that's a pro. He is also a decorated interior player. Trey Turner has made 5 Pro Bowls in his career. By comparison, if you look at the entire interior of the Saints offensive line, Eric McCoy at center, Andrus Peat at left guard, and Cesar Ruiz at right guard, they have a combined 3 Pro Bowl appearances, all by Andrus Peat, and we know that that's basically just because you get to the point in the Pro Bowl balloting where it's like, anybody want to play in this thing? Like, anybody, you want to go? No, you made it, but you're not going to play? Okay, Andrus Peat, would you like to play in a Pro Bowl? Oh, hell yeah, I'll do that. Cool. How much? Very nice. Anyway, but Trey Turner's made 5 of them, so he's a really good player. Let me rephrase, has been at times in his career a really good player. The other thing to keep in mind is, after this season, the 2 guards I just mentioned, Andrus Peat and Cesar Ruiz, they could be done. Ruiz did not have his 5th-year option picked up, so he's a free agent after this season. And Andrus Peat, the way they restructured his deal, effectively the Saints off-ramp after this season on Andrus Peat's contract. So both of your presumed starters at offensive guard this year are not going to be back next year or are going to be re-signed in free agency to new deals after this season. So however that may work. So bringing a guy like Trey Turner could be an answer to an affordable answer with a talented veteran player to losing both those guys. Now, here's the downside. Okay, so that get your sheet of paper, line down the middle, pros, cons. Those are the pros. Now let's look at the other side. Number 1, he's 30 years old and has really struggled to play a full season of late. As a rookie, Trey Turner started 9 times, played in 13 games, 9 starts. Then he became a full-time starter after his rookie year. Played in and started every game in 2015 and 2016. In 2017, he missed 3 games. In 2018, he missed 3 games. In 2019, he missed 3 games. So each of those 3 seasons, he missed 3 games apiece in each of them. In 2019 was Trey Turner's last year in Carolina. That was the first year of his 4-year, $45 million contract. After 1 year, they trade him to the Chargers. In his first year in L.A., he misses 7 games. Plays in just 9 games. The Chargers cut him. Signs a free agent deal with Pittsburgh, plays in all 17 games. That was in 2021. Was not brought back to Pittsburgh. Signed last year with Washington and played in 16 games with 12 starts. So there's a couple of ways to look at this. You can look and say, well, the last 2 years, Trey Turner stayed pretty healthy, and he has. The other way to look at it is, since his 3rd year in the league, he's played a full season once. And his missed games were 3, 3, 3, 7, played a full season, and then missed a game last year. You could legitimately say he's 30 years old, his best football is behind him, and he can't stay healthy. And that is not incorrect. You could also look at it and say, is Trey Turner a potential long-term option, or is this a 1-year fix? Is this just, you have a veteran player, and you drafted Nick Saldiveri this year in round 4. He's on the PUP list, and maybe this is just an opportunity to bring in a veteran player who's an accomplished player who struggled to stay healthy, and you could bring him in on an affordable 1-year deal as an insurance policy, which is probably what the Saints are looking at here. I mean, you could say, again, 3 teams in 3 years. This will be his 4th team in as many years. Eventually, when every team keeps passing on you after a year, that tells you what you need to know. Can 4 consecutive teams be wrong that he's at the end of his career? It's a conversation I had with Andy Dalton. Carolina or Cincinnati let him walk, and every year subsequent, he's been signed and has spent 1 year. 1 year in Dallas, 1 year in Chicago, 1 year in New Orleans. Now he's in Carolina. Trey Turner's following a similar path right now. So, after Carolina signed him that 40-year, $45 million deal, he was gone after 1 season. They traded him to the Chargers. He was in L.A. for 1 season. That's when he played just 9 games. He missed 7 games his 1 season in L.A. They cut him to save $11 million. To them, it was worth it. For me, really, the question is the cost. Last year, Trey Turner signed a 1-year, $3 million deal with Washington and played in 16 games, started 12 times. If the Saints can sign Trey Turner to a 1-year, $3 million deal or something comparable, you have virtually nothing to lose. You have the cap space to do it. This is a veteran player, potential position of need. It's an affordable, accomplished veteran player who, if nothing else, is an insurance policy for you. And you bring him to camp and see if he can beat out Calvin Throckmorton for one of those interior spots. When does Nick Saldiveri come back off the PUP list? And if the answer is he doesn't play as a rookie, okay, well then you've got Trey Turner as a backup there on the interior. So, Saldiveri is going to make the team. He's a 4th-round pick, barring something dramatically unforeseen with him. But maybe it's something where he's on the PUP list and he's going to miss half the season, and you have a guy like Trey Turner there as a backup and as an insurance policy. And I like that as an affordable option if it plays out that way. So the Saints worked out Trey Turner on Monday, waiting on word to see if they are in fact going to sign him as of right now on Monday afternoon, shortly after 3:00. But I like it at the right price as an insurance policy. I like it a lot, and that is with removing my purple and gold glasses. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Our open every day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy in Louisiana. Football season's almost upon us. You're going to be dining out at a restaurant, tailgating, or just watching the game at the house. It's always great to crack open a nice cold Bud Light. You can still catch the camouflage aluminum cans. If you see them out there, make sure you snag them, because every purchase, a portion of those sales goes to Folds of Honor, which is funding scholarships for the children of our fallen war heroes. Few better, more noble endeavors than that. So Folds of Honor, more than $21 million raised by our friends at Bud Light and Budweiser over the 13 years of their involvement. So drink easy in Louisiana, and be sure to check out those Folds of Honor cans. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. LSU football with a pretty significant commitment over the weekend that I'd like to talk about. Shea Dixon will be here in 1 hour from right now. Don't you move, it's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Y'all, we're moving towards storm season. Make sure you've got that roof checked out. And I want to remind you as well, of course, about fortified roofing. Our state legislature passed the fortified standard this year in the legislature. If you have a fortified roof, you can save up to 52% on your homeowner's insurance, depending on who your carrier is. Learn more if you're interested. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. No matter where you're listening in the state of Louisiana or outside of the state of Louisiana, commercial or residential, roof repairs or roof replacements. I tell you every day, do business with someone you know. There's a lot of roofing companies that come and go. You see ads pop up on TV or wherever the place may be. Where's that company going to be in 6 months from now, 6 years from now? Well, you know where to find me, Matt at HudcoRoofing.com. Do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing and HudcoRoofing.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrell with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrell and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Make this summer your backyard party year with Chris's Specialty Foods. Wings, burgers, brisket, steak, and boudin, plus great Cajun side dishes. We do all the prep, and you enjoy laughing with friends and family. Chris's Specialty Foods, Millerville, New Orleans, Prairieville, and Frisco.
Everybody loves Chris's authentic Cajun meat.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after... After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
I rolled along. Shea Dixon's going to be here in an hour. It was a busy recruiting weekend for LSU, so we'll get to all of that. Glad to have you aboard with us. We're back in studio. Thanks to everybody who watched and followed along with all of our coverage last week at SEC Football Media Days. It was a fun week, and maybe my biggest takeaway from the entire week, if I had just one giant overarching takeaway, it's everybody in the league feels massively confident. I know that sounds like, well, that's what happens every year because optimism abounds at the start of the year. That's not always true. Generally, you go to something like Media Days, and you could tell who are the teams that are feeling confident and who are the teams that aren't feeling so confident. For example, when we were at Media Days in 2021, LSU was coming off a 500 season after COVID. Ed Orgeron's job was very much on the line. We all knew it. You looked at the schedule and you went, man, this could get bad. That was a very obvious headline and talking point at Media Days. This year, I think because there isn't any, aside from Georgia in the East, there isn't any, absolute, no doubt, clear-cut, slam dunk, winners. The West feels pretty wide open, so optimism abounds everywhere. I mean, you look at Arkansas, they're like, well, we got KJ Jefferson back. Why not? Bring in Dan Enos. We're going to be great. I think LSU fans and the people talking about LSU felt supremely confident. Kentucky's sitting there going, we got a bunch of 4th and 5th year guys. Brought in Devin Leary from NC State. Yeah, Georgia's on top, but man, they lose their quarterback. They lose 5 guys on the defense. They lose their offensive coordinator. Why can't we step up and beat them? Missouri almost beat them last year. If you're Tennessee, you're going, man, we won 11 games. We're ready. Joe Milton, throw the ball 90 yards. Haven't you seen him? I mean, even Vanderbilt got 8 votes to win the league. I mean, everybody there felt really confident, which was kind of an odd thing this year. Anyway, always love your opinion. You can email us. Do I say you tweet us or do I say you X us? Do we have a ruling on that? What do I say? Is it officially?
I'm going to still go with tweet because when you're typing it out, the button still says tweet that you click to send.
That's going to change though, right?
I don't know. I mean, the logo's already the X, but as long as the button still says tweet, I think we got to go with tweet.
For those that don't know, Elon Musk is changing the name of Twitter to X. And I don't get it. I mean, why you have something that's been branded? Like, we've turned the brand into a verb.
Yeah.
You tweet. It's something that's universally understood. Whatever. I'm not a billionaire. He's the richest guy in the world, not me. But you have that much brand equity built in something, I don't know why you would change it. But nonetheless, so you can tweet me or X me, whichever one you want to say, at Matt Moscona. You can do that there. You can text 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. LSU got a commitment over the weekend from Tylan Singleton. This, I believe, is really significant for a lot of reasons. Let me run through some of the particulars first. So Tylan Singleton is a linebacker from Manny, Louisiana. He is in the 247 composite, and whether you look at 247 on 3, whatever composite you look at, he's the number 10 linebacker in the country, number 140 overall. So this is a really good player and a significant get at a position of need. And also, it's another top player from the state of Louisiana. Before I go any further on Singleton and why it's good for this class and the LSU roster, I would just like to take one quick second, if I could, to point something out. There are of the top 10 players in Louisiana for the class of 2024. So you look at the top 10 players ranked in the state. 8 of the top 10 are committed somewhere. 8 of the top 10 right now are committed. All 8 of them are committed to LSU. On top of that, the top 2 uncommitted players in the state of Louisiana for 2024 are crystal ball leans to LSU. Do you remember when Brian Kelly was hired and any jackleg with a microphone wanted to say was how bad of a fit he would be and how he wouldn't recruit? Like, this was one of them. This was the guy, Brian Driscoll from Irish Insider. Remember this?
He won't recruit the way he needs to recruit. I think Notre Dame fit more of his personality. It fit his recruiting base. I mean, the most southern place he'd ever coached before Notre Dame was Cincinnati. Notre Dame's the second most southern place he's ever coached. So I don't see the fit, to be honest with you.
Idiot. I shouldn't call him an idiot. He's probably a nice guy. He sounds like a nice guy anyway. He's just completely misguided. It was the thing that I said over and over and over ad nauseum then. Brian Kelly wasn't Notre Dame's problem. Notre Dame's problem is Notre Dame. Brian Kelly, you don't have to be able to spell Chafunkta to coach at LSU. You just have to be a good coach and take advantage of the wealth of resources given you, especially a talent-rich state, and maximize them. By the way, did you see what Tylan Singleton, this quote, and this was, he gave this quote to 247 Sports, 24/7 Sports, after he committed. He said, quote, "Everybody dreams about playing for LSU from Louisiana." It's not me saying it. That's a top 150 overall player, top 10 linebacker in the country saying everybody in the state dreams of playing for LSU. It's why you will always have this inherent advantage. I'm not trying to pick on Brian Driscoll. He's just the one soundbite that we could find really quickly. But there were dozens, if not hundreds of them all over the country cracking on Brian Kelly for coming to LSU. But again, look at Deshaun McBride, LSU commit. Kylan Billiot, LSU commit. Trey Green, LSU commit. Tylan Singleton, LSU commit. Jawan Johnson, LSU commit. Kalaj Cobbins, LSU commit. Michael Turner, LSU commits. Joel Rogers, LSU commit. Those are the 8 committed players of the top 10 in the country. And if you look at Wardell Mack or Dominic McKinley, those are guys who are thought to be LSU leans as well. Wardell Mack maybe to Texas, but we'll see. Point is, Brian Kelly's crushing it in Louisiana, and he doesn't make a roo. Crazy how that works sometimes. Or maybe he does make a roo. He's been here long enough. Maybe he can do it. Specifically with this commitment from Tylan Singleton, I think this is important for a couple of reasons. as a linebacker, when you look at LSU's roster for this year, we know LSU is converting Harold Perkins to inside. So you have Perkins on the inside along with Omar Spates. So those two are going to be your starters. We know that. And then after that, you've got West Weeks and Greg Penn. So you got a couple of veteran guys backing up. So your first four you feel good about. And then after that, you brought in a couple of freshmen. Whit Weeks, they're very high on him. And you brought in Christian Braithwaite as well. So you got 6 inside linebackers that you feel good about. Well, after this year, you know you're going to lose Omar Spates to the draft. And then after that, you're always at risk to lose somebody in the portal because someone's not going to play. Just like, look, as much as we all thought last year of DeMario Tolan, he left after the season. I mean, you're going to lose guys. Colby Fields was a guy who transferred in from South Carolina, left after a year. It's just the nature of it. You're going to lose guys. So you need to continue replenishing that position right there, and you get one of the best guys in the country who's from right here in Louisiana. So Tylan Singleton, 6'1", 208 pounds, plays some safety in high school, but he projects as a linebacker at LSU. As we mentioned in the 24/7 composite, he's the number 140 player nationally, the 10th best linebacker, 5th best player in the state of Louisiana. Offers from everybody. I mean, Arkansas and Texas A&M and Alabama and TCU were some of the finalists, Auburn, Florida State. So it's a highly ranked player from the state at a position of need, and you got another one to stay here in Louisiana, which I think is just massively significant. And something Brian Kelly has said over and over and over again is that he's going to recruit the state of Louisiana and lead with the state of Louisiana. Look, this was Brian Kelly 2 years ago talking about this.
I sit in the state of Louisiana as the flagship school in a state that has incredible talent. And we should be able to do 70 to 80% of all of recruiting right in the state. Sure. And to be able to be in the state and pull your base, that's really different.
And when you look at LSU for this class, they've got 20 commits, and 13 of the 20 are from Louisiana. 2 from Texas, 1 from Florida, 1 from Georgia. It just 1 from North Carolina, 1 from Tennessee. It makes sense. Recruit your state, supplement nationally. And that's what LSU has done, and that's what they're continuing to do under Brian Kelly. Also had tip to Matt House, who was the lead recruiter on Tylan Singleton. But not just Matt House, but also Sherman Wilson. I think that's another piece of evidence of how Brian Kelly has built his staff wisely. Brian Kelly came in and he brought guys that knew him well, but then he also went and got guys that were great coaches and guys that knew the league and then guys that knew Louisiana. It's why you add a guy like Frank Wilson. It's why, obviously you bring in Matt House, who had been in the SEC before at Kentucky. So the way that he built his staff continues to show and prove that, oh yeah, Brian Kelly's a good coach who knows how to build a roster and build a coaching staff and win football games, and they're doing it again. So a nice get there from Brian Kelly and the staff. Tylan Singleton for the class of 2024, big linebacker from Manny, Louisiana, on board. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. Of course, our Monday shows, as always, are brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank and vinyl siding. They do it all over at Relief Windows. There's triple-digit temps causing your energy bills to go up, up, up. Get some relief. Relief Windows can help. ReliefWindows.com, ReliefWindows.com. Okay, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out a break, go around the SEC. Pac-12 Media Days were on Friday. Well, excuse me. Pac-12 Media Day, singular. They decided to just throw them all in the boat at one time. Just go, oh, y'all, come on at one time. Big old land grab all at once. And the headliner, of course, is the reigning Heisman Trophy winner, Caleb Williams, who had a pretty bold prediction for the USC Trojans at Media Day. I want to talk about that a little bit. When we come back in, we'll go around the SEC. Glad you're hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. Don't you move.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. A lot of y'all I know are going to be heading down to Saints camp. If you need your refreshments, make sure you get them over at Rouse's. Also, by the way, our friends at Rouse's are having a big job fair coming up July 28th and 29th. So that's at the end of this week, July 28th, 29th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. That's at the Houma location, the new Houma location. So if you're down the bayou, make sure you check out our friends over at Rouse's. Their big job fair is coming up again the 28th and 29th. So that's this weekend over at Friday and Saturday over at Rouse's at the Houma location. So part and full-time options are available. You can check it out at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouses.com. Hey, look, also, whatever you might be looking for, if you're making groceries, of course, Rouses help you make groceries for more than 60 years. Go check them out there. And remember, the buy 4 or more, save more promotion as well. Check it out at Rouses. This feels like home.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Rev Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore and down the bayou to the coast, all to connect your business with the world. Rev is about big business technology with small business personal service, powerful solutions, unmatched local service. Rev Business.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Thanks for hanging out with us here. Tomorrow is the start of ACC Media Days, and then Wednesday is the start of Big Ten Media Days, so they overlap and run the remainder of the week. Of course, last week was SEC Media Days, Monday through Thursday, then Pac-12 was Friday. Week prior was Big 12 Media Days. So we're running through talking seasons in college football right now, and then whenever the media days end after this week, then you're going to start to see teams report for fall camp. Especially, I had a chance earlier today, was visiting with Sonny Cumbie, the head coach at Louisiana Tech. They start practice Wednesday. They start practice this week because they have a week 0 game. So they're already there, and they're gearing up for practice this week. So it's here. Those week 0 teams, because if you play week 0, you can start camp a week earlier. So, and those week 0 teams are already getting onto the practice field this week. So it's wild. It's here. But last week on Friday, Caleb Williams, I'm not going to say created a stir, but he was asked about making the college football playoff, and I suppose this is a prediction or guarantee. He said last year's loss to Utah in the Pac-12 championship game still burns. He said, quote, "I'm very determined. I haven't been in the college football playoff in my 2 years of playing. It's been tough. It bothers me because I play for championships. I don't play for anything else. So not being able to have the chance and being so close frustrates me. This year, it's going to be a good one." Fine. I look at the Pac-12 as more intriguing because the general, I think, feeling most people have on the Pac-12 this year is that they're going to cannibalize each other. And USC, Michael Penix back at Washington, Bo Nix back at Oregon, Utah obviously is the defending Pac-12 champion. So, I look at that league, and I don't think it's as cut and dried as just penciling USC into a championship game or in a playoff. And when you look at USC's schedule as well, I don't know that it's plausible to think that they're going to run the table, which I think is what you're going to have to do out of that league. But maybe even more interesting than this year is what Lincoln Riley said about next year. Because, of course, this is the last year that USC and UCLA are going to be in the Pac-12. They're moving to the Big Ten next year. Remember, in the Big Ten, you play 9 league games. You play 9 league games, and USC plays a traditional rivalry with Notre Dame. So if they continue that game, that means they would play 10 Power 5 games every year. And remember, also, LSU opens next year against USC. So along those lines, USC would be playing 11 Power 5 games next year at that rate. Lincoln Riley said at Pac-12 Media Days that he still expects USC to find a way to play Notre Dame. Quote, "That's one of the biggest rivalries in college football. We're going to be in a damn good league. We open up with LSU next year and then play the whole Big Ten. Are we getting rid of Notre Dame? Hell no. Find a way." I love that, by the way. I absolutely love it. Now, it's easier to say that next year because you got a 12-team playoff. You're expanding the playoff. You have some wiggle room. You could lose a couple of games. And I know that I know what the antagonist is going to say. Well, you see, you're ruining the sacred college football regular season. No, you're not. You're making it better. You don't want to see USC play Notre Dame. You'd rather see USC play Cal Poly just to notch a W instead of seeing a great college football game? Kick rocks, loser. Give me better games. Always. Every weekend. That's what we all want to see. Don't give me some artificially inflated record because you play directional state U. Hell yeah, Lincoln Riley. Go play Notre Dame. Go play LSU. Go play 9 Big Ten games. I love that. I want everybody to do that. I think we're heading to that eventuality. And for everybody who says an expanded playoff is going to kill the regular season, it's only going to make it better. Don't you realize how many more teams are still going to have an opportunity to play for something meaningful? Either to get into the playoff, to get a bye in the playoff, to get a home game in the playoff. It's not going to ruin it. It's going to make it better for more teams. Good for you, Lincoln Riley. Hopefully others coaches fall in line and follow suit with that line of thinking as well. All right. It's After Further Review, brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com. You know where to find them. 2 locations and always online at theantiagingclinics.com. If you want to look and feel like your younger self, you can. They can help. Hormone replacement therapy could be the answer. If you're feeling sluggish, you want to feel like your younger self, a simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate. It's the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Okay, y'all, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Florida Gators.
Sophomore offensive lineman Keonta Goodwin, who transferred from Kentucky to Florida back in the spring, he's left the Florida program. Goodwin's mother was recently diagnosed with cancer. They live in the Louisville area. So he's applying for an NCAA family hardship waiver to be able to move closer to home and have immediate eligibility wherever he goes. 6'8", 355. He was supposed to be Florida's starting right tackle this year. He's a former 5-star prospect who was the number 33 overall player. chose Kentucky over Bama, Michigan, Michigan State, Georgia, Texas A&M, basically everybody. 1 year Kentucky, transferred to Florida, where he was supposed to be a starter this year, but now has already left Florida without even playing a game.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
Georgia, the basketball Dogs are on a international trip to Italy under new coach Mike White. He's reloaded the program, and in their first game, they routed something called Orange Basket 1 Bassano. It's an Italian club. Anyway, first of 3 exhibition games take place over the course of 10 days. Russell Chua, Georgia's 7-foot, fifth-year senior transfer from South Florida. He led the way with 14 points, as did Noah Thomason out of Niagara, also had 14 for the Dogs.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
And Carolina baseball's class of 2023 has added left-handed pitcher Jake McCoy. He'll enroll in school in August. McCoy signed a national letter of intent with Wofford, but was released from it after the former coach left for Boston College. He's the number 4 overall prospect in the state of South Carolina, the number 1 left-handed pitcher in the state of South Carolina, and he's staying home to play for the Gamecocks. South Carolina only has 1 lefty on the roster who has thrown significant innings. That's Matthew Becker. So the addition of Jake McCoy is a big one. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal. And our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, you know where to find them, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales service after the sales, they always get you at Gulf Coast Office Products, gcopnet.com. Brady Beacom sent a text message to the show and says, when does 104.1 ESPN Radio start in Lake Charles and Lafayette? It's already there, Brady. Brother, you can listen to us live in Lafayette and Lake Charles. 103.7 ESPN Lafayette, 104.1 ESPN Lake Charles. So thanks to our friends at Delta Media, we've been live now for almost a month, and I believe it's been almost a month now. And this is week 3 or 4. But we've been fired up for the partnership. Glad for everybody. So if you're listening anywhere on the I-10 corridor, of course, our great affiliate, 100.3 ESPN New Orleans. We're here in Baton Rouge, 104.5, 104.9. As you move toward the west, 103.7 ESPN Lafayette, 104.1 ESPN Lake Charles. So we are thrilled, and I would love to remind you as well that this week on Thursday, AFR will be live in Lafayette. So heading over to Lafayette, they're having a launch party for all of their listeners and sponsors and friends. So you're invited. If you can check out all their social media, I tweeted the graphic as well. But this Thursday, AFR live on location in Lafayette. The address is there. It's 520 Rue Jefferson in Lafayette. They own the building, so it's not like there's no sign or anything like that. It's a gorgeous facility. Delta Media owns the building, and they only open it for private events and stuff like that when they're hosting things. So it's at their private event space. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to it. The event is from 5 to 8 p.m., so AFR is there live starting at 3 o'clock, and the event will go until 8. There'll be free food and drinks and door prizes. So the 103.7 ESPN Lafayette launch party, we look forward to seeing y'all there. So come on, and of course, 104.1 Lake Charles. So we'll see y'all there in Lafayette on Thursday for AFR. All right, it's after further review. Thanks for being here with us. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back and wrap up hour number 1 next.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You saw the lines last week. They were slinging them 88 reasons to rally hats, but there's always something going on with Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. And Gordon Gives, the charitable arm of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. You can still find out how you can get your 88 reasons to rally hats if you haven't gotten it yet. And remember, Gordon is also giving away dream vacations to 7 families in Louisiana. You can win one of 7 vacations valued at $2,250. All you have to do, it's just honest to goodness truth, all you have to do is go to GordonGives.com to enter. GordonGives.com. You'll see right there on the right side of the homepage where you can register to win. You want to win one of 7 of G's Getaway giveaways. You can do it right now at GordonGives.com to get all the details. It's all right there for you. Courtesy of Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured, it's not your fault. You need representation. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Wrapping up hour number one. Glad to have you with us here. Shea Dixon in about 30 minutes. We'll talk some LSU recruiting. If you missed it earlier in this hour, we did talk about Tylan Singleton, the big 4-star linebacker out of Manny, Louisiana, who committed to LSU over the weekend. So we'll talk about that, the big recruiting weekend altogether, and how Brian Kelly and the squad right now are trending. So that's coming up with Shea Dixon here in about 30 minutes from right now. Earlier today, we learned that the Saints were working out former LSU offensive lineman Trey Turner, but apparently he's not the only player to work out for the Saints here a couple of days before they hit the practice field for the start of camp. Tom Pelissero tweeted a bit ago that the Saints worked out former Jets defensive end Kyle Phillips, played in 29 games with 8 starts over 3 seasons in New York, had 65 tackles from 2019 to 2021. So Kyle Phillips, another player working out for the New Orleans Saints today. And, I think what this tells you is where, we always say actions speak louder than words. Obviously, the cliche, but it's true. And one of the things that this shows you is where the Saints feel like they still have roster holes, where they feel like they need to supplement. You're working out Trey Turner, that's pretty obvious. It's an obvious one on the offensive line. Just because you haven't gotten great interior line play, which is so odd because that's where the Saints built their championship offense. It was inside out. I mean, they at one point had the 2 highest paid offensive guards in all of football with Carl Nix and Jari Evans. I mean, they've always tried to do it. That's why they traded Jimmy Graham for Max Unger. It was always protect Drew Brees from the inside out. So it's odd to see, and they've drafted, look at me, drafted Cesar Ruiz, you drafted Eric McCoy, you drafted Andrew Speed. It's not that they you drafted Trevor Penning. It's not that you haven't invested in the resources. It's maybe you've missed a little bit. So the fact that they brought in Trey Turner to work out kind of is evidence of the fact that they still feel like they need bodies there. And Kyle Phillips is interesting as well. This is a name that should sound familiar. He played collegiately at Tennessee, so a lot of people in this area would be familiar with Kyle Phillips. 6'4", 277. And again, spent 3 years with the Jets, was out of football last year, but played in 15 games as a rookie with just 4 starts. In 2020, in the COVID year, played in 7 games with 3 starts, and then in 2021, played in 7 games, just 1 start. So not a ton of meat on the bone for Kyle Phillips. 65 total tackles in his career, 12 tackles for loss in his 29 games played. So, but what you're looking at here primarily is another edge rusher. And you know what you've got in Cameron Jordan, even at this point in his career. He's still a potential double-digit sack guy. And you saw Marcus Davenport leave in free agency to Minnesota. And you drafted Peyton Turner a year ago, and you're still hoping that going into year 3 now, Peyton Turner will materialize. But that's a big, giant question mark at this point. And Carl Granderson is still on the roster. Tano Passanio is still on the roster. But the adage of, you're in the NFL, you're always either getting better or you're getting worse. You're never just staying the same is true. If there's a player that you feel like can help you, you bring him in. You drafted Isaiah Foskey. So you would, in a perfect world, you would love to see Peyton Turner stay healthy and have a dominant year. Like, you'd love to see that. You invested a first-round draft pick in the guy, and maybe he could be that. But the reality is that in 2 seasons, he's played in 13 games and has 3 sacks and 20 total tackles. He just hasn't been available, and when he has been, he hasn't been very good. So you have to really start to calibrate and say, maybe you just completely missed on that pick, and the guy's never going to amount to anything. Carl Granderson is a guy who we all know had his off-the-field issues when he was in college, which is why he ended up at Wyoming and ended up going undrafted. But when he has been on the field for you, this is a guy that has been productive. He's played 4 seasons for you. He's played in 54 games. He's made 7 starts. He's got 103 tackles. He's got 14.5 sacks. That's a guy who you line up opposite Cam Jordan and say, maybe as a full-time starter, Carl Granderson can be that guy. Maybe Isaiah Foskey as a rookie comes in and exactly what you need, the athletic guy who can bend the edge and rush the passer and wreak havoc. Or maybe he's like Peyton Turner. So I understand it. I mean, you don't have questions at cornerback. The only question is, which of the freak show corners are going to win starting jobs? I mean, you've got Marshawn Lattimore, you've got Alontae Taylor, Paulson Adebo, you feel really good about all of them. That's not even to include Bradley Roby, who you still feel really good about and maybe relegated to a nickel or dime spot just because you don't have reps for him. It's a very different question than we got bodies at defensive end, but the only guy who's really accomplished in the group is Cameron Jordan. So if you get a guy who's still a young pro, who's played 3 years, and who has the body type, body style, you think can come in and help you, you do it. So, again, on the eve of the team reporting, the Saints working out a couple of guys, Trey Turner at offensive guard, and then as Tom Pelissero reported, Kyle Phillips, a former Tennessee Volunteer defensive end, spent 3 seasons with the Jets, made 8 starts in those 3 years. A guy who's the Saints are working out today. Nothing else to see if you can bring him in, compete for a job. Maybe a guy can give you some depth and some run there at the defensive end spot. One of 2 spots defensively where I've continued to say I think the Saints have giant questions. Edge rusher and inside linebacker. I feel great. I feel great about Demario Davis. And I know that if Pete Werner is healthy, I feel good about it. But can Pete Werner stay healthy? And if not, who do you have after that? I mean, is Andrew Dowell the answer? I don't know. Hope not. Hope you don't need to find out. But those are 2 spots on this defense where you need options and proven ones at that. Okay, it's after further review. Saw this story earlier today. I'm sure many of you did as well. Just as an update, I'm sure SportsCenter coming up here in a minute. They'll give you an update. But C.D. Deuce, who's signed the 1-year deal with Detroit after spending last year in Philly, the 1-year, $8 million deal. He was injured today in practice, was carted off with a leg injury. Apparently, he was stepped on. At least that's what he told Jared Goff when he went over to check on him. The good news is that the reports coming out of Michigan are that CD Deuce, there's no structural damage. So he's day-to-day, and that's a big relief for him, I'm sure, for the Detroit Lions. And look, I mean, I get it. He played for the Saints, and the Saints traded him, and it was a major point of contention when they did. But still cheer for the guy, man. I mean, he was a great New Orleans Saint. It was fun to watch. Always say he's the guy that you hate when he's on the other team. You love him when he's on your team, but you never want to see anybody go down, especially in camp, especially a young, talented player like that. So CD Deuce seems like everything's going to be okay with the knee. He'll be day-to-day there in camp with Detroit. All right, it's after further review. SportsCenter's coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines, and we'll kick off hour number 2 with a few more tidbits from Saints camp, including a former Saint who has joined the staff. And there is actually a human being who says the Bucs are better this year with Baker Mayfield than with Tom Brady. I will tell you who that human being is next on AFR.
AFR.
Put a button here on hour number 1. We'll remind you about Traction Sports, TractionSports.com. Traction, where champions are made. You know what's incredible? I'm so thrilled to be able to talk about Traction every day. Look, we talk so much about Traction baseball, which everybody knows, and the baseball camps are still rolling for a couple more weeks. Traction flag football is right around the bend. They got about 100 teams for flag football, which is incredible. So if your son or daughter wants to play flag football this fall, get to TractionSports.com and register right now. TractionSports.com. I just got to give a hat tip, though, to my friends at Traction. Like, do you realize what that facility has meant for this community? I mean, Traction, Mac Chiwilli and Traction, they have spent literally millions of dollars. They've pumped millions of dollars into that facility, building out turf fields and all the different fields in a world-class facility to be able to train and to recover as well with the therapy clinic. I mean, for athletes of all ages and skill levels. Traction. TractionSports.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A convicted sex offender caught a lucky break in court today. Charges that could have sent him away for life, all dropped by the district attorney. The DA's office says while the evidence may be lacking, they still believe the victim. Hear what Mark Russell had to say moments after the court hearing. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance jobs, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. and backed by the one-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, one of the Lions' top free agents, appears to have avoided major injury. ESPN's Field Yates reporting an MRI on his injured right knee showed no structural damage. He's considered day-to-day. Nyheim Hines, a key special teams and offensive player for the Bills, expected to miss the season with a left ACL injury, was hurt when he was struck by a jet ski. Chiefs receiver Kadarius Toney expected to miss some time during training camp after aggravating an injury to his knee. He should, though, be ready for the start of the regular season. Toney has been a centerpiece of Kansas City's effort to rebuild its receiving group the last few seasons. ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes.
In the limited glimpses you saw of him last season, he was used so creatively, lined up all across the formation. He's in the backfield. He's used on jet sweeps and end arounds. And combined with a coach as creative as Andy Reid, it feels like a formula that just makes this offense even harder to defend.
The Titans officially signed receiver DeAndre Hopkins.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon with us here in about 15 minutes from right now. We'll talk some LSU Cruton. Ross Dellenger, Delly, who's got himself a new gig. Ross Dellenger now with Yahoo Sports. That was announced last week at SEC Football Media Days. Delly will be with us at the bottom of this hour. He left Nashville and went out to Vegas for Pac-12 Media Days. I do want to talk about that with Ross, as well as some of the NIL stuff that he's been reporting here in the past couple of weeks. I love to give attribution when I can. Sometimes you don't always know where things come from. There's a podcast called Go Long. I've never heard of it. And I saw this link at something called Joe Bucs Fan. I wish I could do better. If someone else had it.
Credit to Joe Bucs Fan.
Credit to Joe Bucs Fan. Whatever
Doing great work.
Well, all he did was actually just aggregate this from the Go Long podcast.
Oh, so he's Dov Kleeman.
Yes.
Okay, basically.
He's the Bucs Fan version of Dov Kleeman. The Go Long podcast. Whoever it is that hosts the Go Long podcast had former Saints scout Jim Monos on the show. Now, before you say, well, this is just the Saints scout ripping on the Bucs, Jim Monos, or Monos, he hasn't worked for the Saints since 2013. So it's been a decade since he's been in the division. He left the Saints to go work as the director of player personnel with the Bills a decade ago. And I only bring this up not because the Go Long podcast or Joe Bucs Fan or Jim Monos or anything that would normally gain any type of awareness. Except for the fact that this former Saints scout they were talking about the Bucs in 2023, and they were bringing up the comments that the defensive back, the cornerback Carlton Davis made about how they're going to go wreck expletive and all this. And then, of course, the conversation ends up getting toward quarterbacks. And, well, your boy said this.
You're maxed out with Brady. At that point, he was an easy guy to prepare for defenses. He wasn't going anywhere. I just think they'll be able to do more with Mayfield because he's just going to be, to be honest, he's just younger and tougher right now. Brady was good. Brady was checking.
Let me ask.
I just want to clarify so you understand what he just said there. Your boy said that the Bucs in 2023 are going to be able to do more with Baker Mayfield because Tom Brady was done. He was checked out. I want you to hear this again so you can understand that that's actually what he did say. Play it again, Muse.
You're maxed out with Brady. At that point, he was an easy guy to prepare for defenses. He wasn't going anywhere. I just think they'll be able to do more with Mayfield because he's just going to be, to be honest, he's just younger and tougher right now. Brady was good. Brady was checking.
Let me ask.
Younger and tougher. He got 50% of that right. He is younger. And no credit to Baker. I mean, Baker played that whole 2021 season injured with a bum shoulder. His last season in Cleveland. I'm not saying he's not tough. I like Baker. I do. I think I like the moxie. I like him planting the flag, the Oklahoma flag in the middle of the field at Ohio State. I like him grabbing his crotch at the Kansas players after they wouldn't, shake his hand. I love all that. I mean, that's the same stuff with Joe Burrow flashing a 5 at the Vanderbilt players. It's the same. It's the same thing. It's whatever that thing is internally that makes you that competitive and want to go stick it to somebody. Same thing. Joe Burrow is just exponentially better than Baker Mayfield, but so is Tom Brady. I would just like to point out for Jim Manos, again, he's been in the NFL a long time, knows a lot, no doubt. And by the way, I was a guy last year who said the Bucs were finished before the season. I mean, I kind of called that a little bit. I don't get much right here. That's one that I got right. I was like, yeah, they're done. All their players, their names, they're just old. Tom Brady's 45. You've lost your head coach. They're like, it was just obvious that was coming. Anyway, last year when Brady was checked out, his word, not mine, Tom Brady threw for 4,694 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, completed 66.8% of his passes, had a quarterback rating of 90.7. That was a checked out 45-year-old version of Tom Brady, who again he was 6 yards shy of 4,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. Baker Mayfield's best NFL season ever. 2020, right? Cleveland went 11-5. Remember the season? Cleveland went 11-5. They went to the playoffs to beat Pittsburgh in the first round of the playoffs. Baker in that season, 3,563 yards. So I'll do the math for you. 1,200 fewer yards than Brady last year. 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. On par. Brady was 25-9 a year ago. Baker completed 62.8% of his passes, 4% less than Brady. And at a rating of 95.9, so 5 points higher than Brady. So in Baker Mayfield's best season ever, his best season in the NFL, he threw for 1,200 fewer yards, had the same touchdown interception ratio, completed 4% fewer passes than Brady did a year ago, and his QBR was 5 points higher. That's compared to 45-year-old Tom Brady a year ago. Now the Bucs have fire-sailed their roster. They've checked out. The Bucs are tanking to try to draft Caleb Williams. Vegas has their projected win total at 6.5. They actually have the second best odds to have the worst record in the NFL this year. And somehow I'm to believe that the Bucs are better off with Baker Mayfield than Tom Brady because Brady was checked out. Meanwhile, they checked out Tom Brady, threw for 1,200 more yards than Baker did in his best. A checked out 45-year-old Tom Brady threw for 1,200 more yards than Baker Mayfield in his physical prime. I'm just so glad that it looks like Baker is going to start and not Kyle Trash so I can win my bet with Larry. Like, that's really all I'm in for. I mean, the Bucs are going to stink. I'm glad they're going to stink. I know what they're doing. They're tanking, and it's fine. And I'm a little fearful, right? For the same reason I'm fearful of Carolina. Carolina just went all in, love what they did. They went and got their franchise quarterback. Tampa's tanking to try to get their franchise quarterback. Atlanta just stinks, and they don't know what they're doing. So, I mean, I am a little fearful of it. But I'm still going to enjoy the nosedive. Play that one more time. I got to hear it one more time. Just to make sure there's not something therein that I missed.
You're maxed out with Brady. At that point, he was an easy guy to prepare for defenses. He wasn't going anywhere. I just think they'll be able to do more with Mayfield because he's just going to be honest, he's just younger and tougher right now. Brady was good. Brady was checked.
Let me ask.
Okay. I didn't miss anything, did I? Context?
No. He was easy to prepare for, checked out. Basically, kind of said Brady stunk.
They were 8-9.
Yeah, they were.
Still threw for 4,700 yards, 25 touchdowns. Not bad for a 45-year-old guy who was checked out. All right, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back. Shea Dixon next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company all in one place. You know where to find them. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. If you are thinking about selling your home, y'all, it is time. What we are seeing right now in the greater Baton Rouge real estate market is that people are buying homes again. It's starting to pick up again. Home buyers have realized these rates, we're kind of stuck with them for a little while. So if you got to buy a home, you got to buy a home. And you'll refi maybe later down the road. So if you are thinking about selling your home, there is still a lack of inventory. There is more demand than there is inventory on the market, which makes this a seller's market. If that's you, if you're thinking about selling your home, call Darren James, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, in Baton Rouge. I'm remembering what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Our Tigers will be in camp here in a couple of weeks. Good time to check in with Shea Dixon as the recruiting calendar begins to sprint toward this frenetic finish. Shea Dixon on Twitter at Shea Dixon from On3 the Bengal Tiger. How are you, dude?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
I'm doing really, really well. Hey, I saw your tweet earlier. Are you in Manny to interview Tylan Singleton, or was that someone else with On3 today?
Yeah, that was Sam Spiegelman with On3. Went over to Manny today, so they were going through some on-field stuff and working out. So you got to watch him and got to interview him, and I caught up with Sam to kind of get his thought on things. But yes, a day to be. A few days here to be celebrated. Get a commitment from Tylan Singleton on Saturday night, and now obviously we go check him out on Monday. He's pretty excited about getting on board. And Matt, this is some of the bigger news of the summer, because there was a stretch where people weren't sure if LSU was going to be able to get a kid out of Manny. They've had some FBS level prospects roll through there, and Singleton for a few years now has had an offer and been on the wish list, and he is Louisiana's top ranked linebacker. And people just wondered, is he going to go to A&M? Is he going to go to TCU, Arkansas? Tennessee was making a big push for him. And at the end of the day, LSU buckles in, and they drop yet another domino in the state of Louisiana in the cycle where, boy, are they red hot right now in terms of keeping guys at home for college.
Shea, I want to ask, because you mentioned about Manny, is there something there that I just like? I mean, I'm certainly not as deeply embedded in recruiting as you are, but what's the deal with not being able to get players out of Manny?
I think it's overblown to an extent. They've had a number of guys come through there. And look, at some people, at least in the Manny area, or at least LSU fans, wanted to point to the old regime at Manny now. They've got a new coaching staff. I don't think that's as big of a deal as the reality that, look, a number of years ago, A.J. Carter came through as a running back, committed to LSU, but ultimately, LSU went in a different direction. He backed off that commitment, and Myron Warren came out of there. LSU flirted with him on the D-line. He went to Texas, and then Tackett Curtis, I think, really put it in the headlines, given he had an LSU offer. But I early on never thought Tackett Curtis was going to stay in state, and I think he wanted to go somewhere else. He did. He went to Cal. He also did it in a year, Matt, where they were transitioning from Orgeron to Kelly. They'd gone back-to-back 500 seasons, and 6 of the top 10 guys in the state that year, starting with Arch Manning at the top, left the state of Louisiana and signed elsewhere. So I don't know if it was as big of a Manny thing as it just was the irony that they had some guys come through there that just not ended up at LSU. But now, whatever it is, that debate or conversation is in the books, because Tylan Singleton is on board and he's confident in his commitment, and they've got a guy now coming from a Manny Tiger to an LSU Tiger.
Shea, tell us a little bit more about Tylan Singleton, because I do see he plays safety in high school, but is projected as a linebacker. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of the kind of coming downhill in the box stuff a year ago at Manny was done by Tackett Curtis. So there's a lot of people that think that Tylan Singleton, with Tackett Curtis now at Southern Cal as a true freshman, that Tylan Singleton is going to have a really, really big season as a senior this fall. They're going to use him on offense. He's going to play some receiver, but also is going to play kind of that star position, which is kind of a roving nickel at times, just someone who is a bit of a tween. He's probably 6'1". He'll be in that kind of 6'2" range by the time he settles in college. He's a little north of 200 pounds right now, entering his senior year. And he can play middle linebacker. He can play on the edge. He can play safety. He can play in the nickel. So super, super versatile. One of the more intriguing guys in Louisiana this cycle, but he is ranked as a linebacker, and he's ranked as, I think, the number 11 or 12 linebacker in the country right now on the On3 industry rankings. So across the board, a 4-star, across the board, a top 300 guy. So he's very highly thought of by all the recruiting services.
So it's 20 commits now for this class, Shea, with Singleton on board. I know you mentioned that the majority of them are from the state of Louisiana. Look, you cover this and have for a long time. Is this why is this surprising? It seems like LSU's always led with the state of Louisiana.
I think it's surprising because I think from a year ago, they had more than half, or 2 years ago, more than half the state, last year, more than half the state left. 6 of the top 10 guys and went and played elsewhere, and all of them had LSU offers. So you want to be able to say early on in Brian Kelly's tenure here that, hey, they are putting an emphasis in Louisiana. They're locking it down. They're not letting guys get out. And you see the immediate benefits. Matt, remember 2 years ago when Kelly first got here, I should say 2 cycles ago, they had 15 total high school signees. But look what Emory Jones and Will Campbell came in and did right away at LSU coming out of Louisiana. So just locking up the state is important. And I went back and checked what they call the modern recruiting era, which is back to 2000. LSU has never landed all 10, or I should say the top 10 prospects in Louisiana. There's always been at least one player who went elsewhere. Now, there's been years where they didn't offer everybody that was in the top 10. Obviously, LSU's evals will differ from the recruiting industry, but by and large, that's a good indicator of how your success rate was in Louisiana, is what that top 10 looks like. They have offered all of the top 10 this year in Louisiana, and now all but 2 of them, Wardell Mack and Dominic McKinley, who happen to be the number 1 and 2 players in the state, are committed to LSU, and Mack and McKinley remain uncommitted. So there's a chance here to make a little history and be, at least in the modern era, which dates back to 24 years of recruiting cycles, to be the first staff that offered and got all of the top 10 players in the state.
Shay, I'm looking at at the On3 comparison here. McKinley, 83% toward LSU. Mack, 79% toward LSU. Are we thinking that each of those guys are heavy LSU leans?
I think it's one of those things where they have always been considered as having LSU as the team to beat, given they're from Louisiana. McKinley's recruitment really took off after his junior year, so it's all still pretty relatively fresh for him. He made a bunch of visits in June to out-of-state schools for the first time, so he's sort of going through the recruiting process a bit later than a lot of other guys did, just because he had just such a huge junior season at Acadiana. Mack has been offered by a lot of schools since he was a young kid playing at John Ehret. So he's very familiar with LSU and other schools had to offer. He'll announce here in the coming weeks. I would say that LSU has stiff competition on both. I'll also say LSU still has official visits left with both those guys, and the main competition used their official visits in June. So there was some momentum coming out of this summer. And both guys will be at the Bayou Splash recruiting event on Friday, which beginning tomorrow, Matt, we're in a 1-week period where kids can visit campuses. Then it goes to a dead period all the way into September. So all of these kids who want to announce before their senior year, which is a lot of them, including Wardell Mack, the number 2 player in Louisiana, coming out of John Ehret as a DB, where do you go this week? Like, if you only visit one college campus, that's kind of telling that you gave one school a visit before you were ready to decide on who you were picking. Even more so if that school is LSU, one of your leaders, and in these cases, the in-state team. So I do think LSU could be considered the team to beat for both, but I think it's far from being over. There's work to be done.
All right, Shea, last thing for you. Shea Dixon's with us again on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Really good time to join up and subscribe up there if you're interested as recruiting kind of gets toward the Bayou Splash. Can you kind of give us a primer for the Bayou Splash this coming weekend?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a pool party event, and everybody is doing something. So as I noted, you've got a 7-day window here where you can get kids to campus, and everybody's got an event. I mean, there's pool parties, there's barbecues, whatever you want to call it. Everybody's doing the same thing, eating and hanging out. So everyone is sort of jockeying to say, who can we get to campus? Because so many of these kids are inching closer to a decision. LSU's got a very nice list put together. Colin Simmons, the 5-star out of Duncanville. Caden Durham, his 4-star teammate at running back, are both going to be there. As I mentioned, McKinley, Mack. There's a number of other big-time offensive line targets that they'll have in town, including 2 guys that they're really honing in on, Ori Williams and Blake Ivey, both out of Texas. And you sort of just kind of hang out, and you get to know the staff a little more. The players will be getting back as they get ready for report date. You spend a lot of time with other commitments or other guys who are top targets, and you're down there with your family. So it's sort of like a little mini official visit weekend where you're around a lot of people. You get the vibe for LSU. You meet with your position coach, and they kind of really make that final pitch before your senior year. Hey, this is why we want you. This was an invite-only event. You're on the invite list for a reason, and more often than not, if you look back at the numbers, Matt, we've dug back into it just looking at last year, now Kelly and then ran this event. The uncommitted guys at the event were guys like Javian Toviano, for instance, and a number of in-state kids who, I think of the uncommitted guys who came, let's say 10 of them were there, I think 7 or 8 of them ended up signing with LSU. So this weekend could be really paramount towards deciding ultimately what the class looks like on signing day.
He is Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. You'll follow him on Twitter at Shea Dixon. Busy time, man. We always appreciate a couple minutes. Thanks, Shea.
Yes, I'm sure. And next time some commits roll in, I'll jump back on. So hopefully we have a busy few weeks ahead.
We always look forward to it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, that is Shea Dixon again from On 3, the Bengal Tiger. Ross Dellinger is going to join us here coming up after the break. Tylan Singleton's obviously big. I never put so much stock in like one school hates LSU or something like that. I mean, you can always pull kids from a certain school. It's just a matter of what do they particularly want. I can't tell you know everything about Manny, but if there's one thing I take from what Shea just said is when every school has their big recruiting weekend for LSU, they're having the Bayou Splash, they're calling it. When you can pick one to go to, if the one you pick is LSU, that's got to be considered a really good thing. So, big list this weekend for Brian Kelly and the Tigers. Big opportunity to make some more waves in recruiting. Okay, it's After Further Review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. We're glad to have you hanging out. Let me knock out a quick break. Come back. Ross Dellenger will be with us. Ross Dellenger from Yahoo Sports will be with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, it is hot outside. We got off the plane coming home from Nashville, and we're in Nashville, and everything in Nashville is like rooftop restaurants and bars and everything, right? Every hotel is a rooftop. And so, last Monday, T-Bob and Rivers and Hester and I were sitting outside, and it's 7 p.m., and I'm outside in jeans and a long-sleeve shirt. It's so comfortable. We get home, we get off the plane, you walk outside, and immediately it's whoosh, you're just hit with that big heat wave. And you realize, man, we choose to live here, we love it. But we got serious heat issues, obviously. It's why you need River City's 1-hour air. If you got an issue with your Home Central AC, don't get stuck sweating in your home with an uncomfortable family. Call River City's 1-hour air. The big yellow vans and trucks, they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. They work nights, holidays, and weekends. We've had stories of people calling at 2 a.m. 2 a.m., man, within, by noontime the next day, boom, they've already got their AC up and running. It's River City's 1-hour air. Give them a buzz. 752-0001.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This summer, retirement is a state of mind. Whether it's a mid-morning activity or an early bird special, grab a Coors Light and chill like you're retired.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrell with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrell and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
It was a humid day, barefoot children play, looking for that summer shade. Time just slips away. Oh, Louisiana, some kind of hold on me. Like cypress stumps, your roots are planted deep inside of me.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Got to hang out with our buddy Ross Dellinger last week in Nashville. Ross Dellinger now of Yahoo Sports made the move over to Yahoo. That was announced while we were there last week. Ross is good enough to join us after a really busy week from Nashville to Vegas for Pac-12 Media Days, and I don't know, I would presume maybe back in D.C. now. How are you, dude?
Good, Matt. How are you?
I'm really well. Are you back in D.C. or are you still gallivanting across the land?
No, I'm back in D.C. at least temporarily for a couple nights. Then I'm back on the road tomorrow, actually, going up to Indianapolis for Big Ten Media Days this week.
Big Ten and then the ACC, I know, overlaps. So there's a lot of storylines that about. Let me go back to Nashville. Was there anything, everyone always does, what were your takeaways? Like, did you have any big overarching takeaway, anything you that stood out to you the 4 days there in Nashville?
Not really. And usually you have, just kind of a couple of big highlights or something. Maybe somebody says something that just like goes completely viral, or there's some big serious topic that coaches touch on. And I don't know, this year just felt like it didn't have that. Now, granted, I missed some of it as I was doing my new training for now that I went Yahoo. I was kind of on Monday and Tuesday, I was a few hours in my virtual orientation with Yahoo, so I missed some of it. But no, there wasn't anything huge. Lane Kiffin said some interesting things about the NIL and the transfer portal, like he often does, right? Jimbo, for whatever reason, wouldn't say much about the play calling and wouldn't give much away about his new offensive coordinator, Bobby Petrino. That was kind of odd. And then Greg thinks kind of touched on all the things that are going on in college athletics. I don't know. There wasn't anything real eye-popping.
What about the projected order of finish? Anything stand out to you there?
No, not really. I mean, obviously we're so used to Alabama being predicted winning the West, but you kind of knew entering this. And I the day before media day ended, I was on with Feinbaum that Wednesday, and I kind of told him that I expected LSU to be picked by media to win the West, and usually, we all just kind of pencil on Alabama. But I think the predicted orders of finish is what I would have imagined it to be.
I was surprised. I actually was on with Paul on Monday and told him the same thing, that I thought LSU was going to be picked. And when you just kind of walked up and down the halls and talked to everybody, that was the feeling. I guess there's just a lot of cowards that couldn't actually push the button and vote for LSU after they said they would. But if I asked you, who do you think is third in the West? Bama, LSU, Bama, whatever order. Who would you say, or who did you vote for?
Oh gosh. I actually I was reading Bill Steele, who does a great job with his preseason magazine, and because I'm going to give credit to him because this is where I kind of got this from. And he's got Texas A&M as maybe his biggest surprise team of the year, based on the returning talent, And I know, there's Bobby Petrino's on that staff, and you got the Jimbo thing and all that drama. So a lot of people are wondering how it will work. But they return a lot. They're really talented. And I'd probably pick them.
Okay.
I really would.
Were you one of the ones that picked Vanderbilt to win the league?
I did not vote. I do not vote on. I try not to vote on anything at all, ever, if I can get away with it.
I don't blame you.
But I unfortunately did not vote. But I did see that. I suppose like every year, at least Vandy gets one or two votes to win the league, as either people are accidentally voting for them or they're trying to be funny.
It's people making a complete mockery out of it, and I that's why I say it's better to do what you do, which is just not vote. Just don't vote. You left Nashville and went to Vegas for Pac-12 Media Days. George how do you say his last name, by the way?
Well, I've heard it said a number of ways, but I always saw it George Klavkov.
Clavicle, I don't care, whatever it is. He said that the Pac-12 is not worried at all about Big 12 teams poaching them, and that they've never been stronger. Why is that guy a giant compulsive liar?
Oh, Matt, come on.
Ross!
Look.
Their two most notable brands are leaving. And he's sitting here going, no, we've never been stronger. What, are you kidding me?
Well, that statement was a little, you could maybe say there's some not truth to that.
Or that he's a compulsive liar.
He's going to, in any commissioner, right, is going to be positive and optimistic and all that. It's the big address every year, football media days for all the commissioners, and they're all going to be positive, and they're all going to say, their conference is in the best situation it's ever been, and blah blah blah. And that's just how it is. And he did the same thing. He wanted to turn all the attention on football, but it was very hard to do that. And he knew that, and he knew he was going to get questions about non-football questions, because they really want to highlight what is the best group of quarterbacks in the country as far as conferences. I mean, they absolutely, without a doubt, have the best returning group of quarterbacks of any league in the nation. And so they wanted to really talk about that, but it didn't get mentioned a whole lot, especially in his address or in his Q&A, because everybody's wondering about that TV deal. So.
Do you think the Pac-12 exists in 5 years?
I do, yeah. Do I think it exists in its current form? well, obviously it's not going to exist in its current form, right? USC, UCLA are going, but even in the form of the current 10, I don't know. I don't know that maybe they add 2 more actually, and so it's a different composition. I do think it exists in 5 years. And I'll say this, I think whatever their TV deal is going to be, which I would guess is coming in a matter of days, if not in just a week or two, I think it is as close as we've been now. They've been to it, and so they're finalizing it. So whatever it will be, it'll probably be at least 5 years of a deal. Maybe it's 6 years, maybe it's 7, but I think it's probably in the 5 to 6 range. So your question, in 5 years, yeah, I do. I think it'll be there because they'll have signed a TV deal that will stretch at least that long.
All right, Ross Dellenger is with us again, Yahoo Sports. Make sure you check out us at yahoosports.com. Last thing, you're obviously out in D.C., and you filed a report last week about NIL and some bipartisan legislation. Ross, I'm just cynical toward the whole thing. I know that there's a lot of push to get the federal government involved in NIL. I don't know that we ever see anything get across the finish line, though. Why should I believe that we're actually closer to getting something done than we have been in the past?
Well, number one, you're seeing a rush of bills, right? 2 came out kind of last week. You had the Ted Cruz bill, and then you had the bipartisan bill with Booker, Blumenthal, the 2 Democrats, and Jerry Moran, the Republican. And this week, you're going to see 1, maybe 2 more bills come out. And the reason you're seeing this kind of the latest cascade of bills is because they go and break all of August. The Congress does. And I think they're trying to get something done before the presidential election cycle really hits, right? Which really starts in earnest, fall, winter. This coming fall and winter or so. I guess it depends on who you ask, but it really kind of certainly starts by like the next Congress, January, February, the next year. They need to get something done because when the presidential election cycle hits, things come to a crawl in Congress. If they're not already crawling, they will come to a complete crawl. It's not stagnant. So they're trying to get things done very quickly. They're trying to introduce bills over the next 2 weeks before the break. That way, while legislators are back home for a month during their break, they can review these bills, and then when they come back, they can start actually talking seriously about them in committee rooms. I still think it's doubtful that they pass anything this year, but certainly there is more traction building. There's no doubt about it.
All right, he's on Twitter at Ross Dellenger from Yahoo Sports, and he is a keen defender of a compulsive liar, George Kliavakov. Bro, the man said they'd never been strong. The man said they'd never been stronger. Come on, bro. Like, your league is dying on the vine, bro. You gotta at least be honest with me. You can't pee on my head and tell me it's raining.
Well, I mean, last year, as I recall, I think he acknowledged that they were losing, very valuable brands. But he moved past that a year ago, so he's moved past that again.
All right. Read Ross's stuff and follow him on Twitter at Ross Dellenger. Thank you, Ross.
All right, man.
All right, we'll see you later. Appreciate Ross's time. It's after further review. Our Monday shows, of course, brought to you by Relief Windows. Paulie's going to be out in a few weeks. Is that Paul the 17th? You said 17th, 18th? Paulie's getting his eyes done over at the Williamson Eye Center. Getting that LASIK. It's about time. It's going to be the best thing you ever do, I promise. Call 924-2020. I did it. Paulie's doing it. You should as well. It's what all the cool kids do. We get LASIK. Or at least all the blind kids, right? That's when we can't see for whatever reason. You age, you're just genetically, you're born bad eyesight like I was wearing glasses at the time I was in 6th grade. My poor sister, man, she was wearing glasses at 5 years old. But a lot of you can empathize, man. You know what it's like. You have to take your contacts out every night. Your eyes are all dry. You put on that same pair of glasses, that old prescription, and them glasses you still can't see with them because you don't update the prescription. You shove your contact lenses in your eye every morning. You know those disposable, and you're supposed to get rid of them every week or every 2 weeks. You do it like every 3 months, 4 months. We all do it. I mean, and your eyesight goes, and you just live with it. And it's an awful thing to do. But to give yourself the gift of sight's incredible. Dr. Blake Williamson does that every single day over at the Williamson Eye Center. You want to see 20/20 without contacts or glasses, the Williamson Eye Center can help. Call 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com. That's williamsoneye.com. All right, y'all, 30 minutes from right now, Kat Terrell is going to be here. Saints report for camp tomorrow. Wednesday, they're on the practice field down in Metric. Unbelievable, man. It is here. Saints training camp. We are like less than 48 hours away from the start of practice, like 36 hours away from the start of practice. It's incredible. So it's almost here. We'll get a Saints camp preview with Kat Terrell 30 minutes from right now. All right, we're going to knock out our final break of hour number 2. We'll come back. Muso will do a little Tigers in the pros. Also, something I intended to get to last hour but ran out of time. A former Saint is joining the Saints staff. I'll share that news with you when we come back. Stay with us here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Y'all get on by and see our friends at Clegg's. You know what? Even though it's been 100 degrees air temperature, 110 heat index like every single day, the flowers that we bought at Clegg's on Mother's Day are still thriving. Why? Because they were grown here in Louisiana. They're acclimated to Louisiana. So even though it's hot and humid and all that sort of stuff, they thrive. They do better. So get on by Clegg's Nursery. Bypass the big box stores where flowers are brought in on box trucks from other states. Man, do business with a great local company that's been around for more than 60 years. That's Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations. Seagan near Airline, LA 16 in Denham, Mid-City on Donmore, and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. They're partnered with True Value Hardware Store, so whatever you'd find at a True Value Hardware Store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local, Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, live at lunch on Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
How about this? Former Saint great Leroy Glover is joining the Saints coaching staff as part of the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship Program. It's a program that describes an opportunity to give talented coaches an opportunity to observe, participate, gain experience, and ultimately gain full-time NFL coaching position. I think this is so cool because Leroy Glover, I think a lot of us here associate Leroy Glover with the Saints. But, Leroy Glover's a guy who was from San Diego and went to San Diego State and was drafted by Oakland, actually. So wasn't even a player drafted by New Orleans. After a year in Oakland, he went and played the Spring League and the World League over in Europe and then signed with the Saints. And played with the Saints from 97 to 01, and then subsequently went to Dallas and then the Rams. And so he bounced around a lot. And then after his time in the NFL, he jumped into some front office positions. And so Leroy Glover, I guess my point is, he's had a very long journey. He's 49 years old right now, and he has had some on-field coaching internships and other opportunities in the NFL as well. But 49 years old, he's taken a very long journey to this point, but clearly still has a love and a passion for the game and is trying to get into coaching in the NFL. And the fact that he's not from New Orleans, wasn't drafted by the Saints, and has had a lot of different NFL experiences, both as a player and a coach, but still has found his way back to New Orleans as part of the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship Program, it is really cool. So wish Leroy Glover the best of luck, man. He'll be out there with the Saints in training camp, and we'll see if it nets him an opportunity. We've seen the Saints do this. I mean, they obviously hired Zach Strief as a coach. Sean Payton did. Jari Evans was an intern with the Saints and now is on staff. So maybe Leroy Glover will be the next one. So really cool. Good luck to Leroy Glover with the opportunity. Okay, we do it every day about the time. Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
All right, we'll go back to Saturday night to start things off. Kevin Gausman records a no decision, but a really solid outing. 6 innings, no walks, punched out 9. 87 pitches, 58 strikes. Solid outing. The problem is four of his 5 hits went over the fence and left the yard, but no decision nonetheless. Alex Lang recorded save number 17 last night for the Detroit Tigers. It was a shutout inning of work, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, sub-4 ERA, and again now the 17 saves. Career year so far for our guy Alex Lang.
Attaboy, Langer.
Was also part of a no-hitter earlier this year. Remember that? That was pretty cool. DJ LeMahieu last night. 1 for 3. It was a double, his 16th of the year. Came around to score a run and also walked in the game. Yankees got the win 8-5 over the Royals. DJ, 233 on the year so far for the Yanks.
I take back my yes. I'm emotionally checked out, remember?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. They're tied for last place. It's ugly. And I know that because of the team they're tied for last place with. Aaron Nola last night. Also with a no decision because, the Phillies, they're going to Philly.
Yeah.
7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, didn't walk anybody, punched out 7, 85 pitches, 62 for strikes. I would say he probably had a little left in the tank, probably did, but that's also kind of just Major League Baseball these days. You get to 80 pitches and they yank you. So that's how it goes. So another no decision for Aaron Nola. Jacob Berry.
Ooh. Jacob Berry.
Thought I had a cue. That's my fault.
Yep.
2 for 4.
I
guess it's a good point. 2 for 4 last night. A double, his 19th, and a home run, his 4th. Drove in 2 runs, scored twice, and walked. Was all over the base paths. His team put up 15 runs and won a ball game. And we will wrap it up with yet another save for our guy Paul Gervais.
Let's go! Yeah!
Yeah, he's racking them up now, Matt. That's now 6 saves on the year for Paul Gervais. Shutout inning of work. Did give up a hit, but K'd the side. 3 punch-outs, an ERA now of 1.16, and the 6 saves. We really need the Mets next July to draft an LSU guy, because I don't think Paul Gervais is going to be in Brooklyn much longer. That's Tigers in the pros.
You know what?
What?
If she moved her body like a cyclone, you better put a ring on it.
Wife her up.
Wife her up. Go see our friends at Lee Michaels. Or just log on to lmfj.com. lmfj.com. Don't have the engagement ring you're looking for? They'll custom design it in your budget. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. To find the location nearest you, to shop online, it's all there for you, where you always get the Lee Michaels experience. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Like you said, wife her up. Wife her up.
Can't let that get away.
Isn't Marceau there with the Cyclones now as well?
Well, he got traded to the Mets, but he's on the developmental list, so he's actually not with the team right now.
Could go into.
He could. That's true.
We need that. That's what we need. All right, hour number 3 is coming up next.
AFR.
Hey, I want to remind you about Michele Weighing and Measurement, Michele.com, Michele.com. Of course, our friends at Michele congratulate the Tigers on winning up in Omaha, hoisting that trophy. Former Tiger Sean McMullen, part of the Michele family over there, was part of the 2013 team that went to the College World Series. Joel McMullen, tell you all the time, the president, CEO of Michele Weighing and Measurement. So a great purple and gold Tiger family there as well. But when it comes to weighing and measuring equipment, Michele does it all. You can go to the website, Michele.com, get more information about what they do. I always encourage you to do that, because most people know Michele for their scales. I mean, they're our nation's largest distributor of scales. They're based right here in Louisiana. Their main office is in Harahan. But, I mean, they service they service the whole country, but they got offices and calibration labs in 11 different states. If it's on-site calibration, they have mobile calibration labs. They can do it all. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. Michele.com, Michele.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I'm Chris Nakamoto, and here's what I'm working on for my stories on WBRZ Channel 2 tonight. A convicted sex offender caught a lucky break in court today. Charges that could have sent him away for life, all dropped by the district attorney. The DA's office says while the evidence may be lacking, they still believe the victim. Hear what Mark Russell had to say moments after the court hearing. I'm Chris Nakamoto from WBRZ. Watch more tonight on WBRZ Channel 2.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models at Corvell Toyota in Opelousas. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Some optimism emerging on one of the Lions' key additions this offseason. ESPN's Field Yates reports an MRI on defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson's injured right knee showed no structural damage. He is considered day-to-day. Bills' key special teams player Nyheim Hines expected to miss the season, injured his left ACL when he was struck by a jet ski. Training camp continues for the Chiefs without all-pro defensive tackle Chris Jones has yet to report as he seeks a new contract, looking for a deal to make him the second highest paid player in the NFL at his position. And he does deserve that, believes ESPN's Ryan Clark.
The only two players on this team more valuable to the Kansas City Chiefs than Chris Jones are Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. And we know that both of those future Hall of Famers are so important to what they do offensively. Chris Jones is that exact thing on the defensive side of the football.
Nugget superstar Nikola Jokic won't play for Serbia in the upcoming FIBA World Cup as he rests from Denver's extended playoff run to a title, reports ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusu. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Cat Terrell in 15 minutes. Saints will be on the practice field Wednesday. Fired up for it. Saints did work out a couple of players today, including former LSU Tiger Trey Turner. We opened the show talking about this. Just a very brief recap while we wait on a decision. I'm removing my purple and gold sunglasses. The reality is Trey Turner is a 5-time Pro Bowler. He knows the division, having been in Carolina. And obviously he's a guy from New Orleans who prepped at St. Aug and went to LSU, so there's a great tie in there as well emotionally. The reality also is that Trey Turner, this will be his 4th team in as many years. And 1 year after signing him to a 4-year, $45 million extension, Carolina shipped him out to Los Angeles to the Chargers. 1 year there, the Chargers cut him to save $11 million. Trey Turner's best days are probably behind him. I think it's fair to say. When 3 consecutive years, you've played now 4 consecutive years, you've been with a different team, I think that's telling. But I also look at the Saints where you have 2 interior offensive linemen, and Andres Pete and Cesar Ruiz, who are who are in their last year. I mean, Cesar Ruiz will be a free agent. Pete, the way they restructured his deal, this will be his last year in New Orleans under this contract. And, one of the interior linemen you drafted, Nick Saldiveri, a 4th-round pick, starting the season on the PUP list. So maybe it's an opportunity where you have this guy that has a lot of skins on the wall, who can come in and provide depth and be an insurance policy for you. So if you can do it affordably, 1 year, $3 million last year with Washington, maybe that makes sense for the New Orleans Saints. So we'll see what the Saints elect to do. And if they do, in fact, decide to add Trey Turner. And then it's also worth mentioning that the Saints did bring in a defensive lineman to work out today as well, Kyle Phillips, who was a former Tennessee Volunteer, who spent 3 years with the Jets. And played in 29 games over those 3 seasons with 8 starts, but could very well be a guy that gives you some depth out on the end where the only real proven asset the Saints have at defensive end edge rusher is Cam Jordan. I mean, everybody else is a giant question mark. So you add another body to compete. It's not a bad thing. So we'll see what the Saints elect to do as they'll report tomorrow. Full squad reports on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday they hit the practice field for the first time. All right, it's after further review. So we'll do a full Saints camp preview with Kat Terrell. She got a really good write-up today at ESPN.com if you want to read through it. We'll have a conversation with what to watch in camp with Kat Terrell coming up here in about 10 minutes. Odell Beckham is going to be in camp with the Baltimore Ravens. And it was interesting because we know Odell's story, right? Odell burst onto the scene in the NFL, and it was with the Giants, and ultimately found his way to Cleveland, and then won a Super Bowl with the Rams. And unfortunately for Odell, tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. And because it was so late, decided, despite some workouts, to take last season off, missed the entire season. And now is in Baltimore. And he signed a 1-year, $15 million deal with the Ravens. He'll be there with Lamar Jackson. It's a really, really nice offensive piece for that Ravens offense. But I got to thinking about it earlier today because over the weekend, Odell did an interview that was published in The Athletic. And one of the things he said is that he considered retiring after the Super Bowl. And he tore his ACL and won the Super Bowl. He considered retiring. But there was interest from a lot of teams, and ultimately he felt the Ravens really wanted him. And they obviously showed it financially as well by giving him a 1-year, $15 million deal. But the quote that I think is getting the most attention is when Odell said, quote, "I'm thinking like this is my last year. I'm going to give it my all this year, and then if something happens after that, we can go from there." Okay. The thing that I think of the most with Odell, like what his whole journey from LSU and then into the NFL, where he burst onto the scenes. I mean, like Odell missed the first 4. You remember this? Like he missed the first 4 games of his rookie season and was still the NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Despite missing the first 4 games, he was the first rookie to have more than 75 catches and 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns in a rookie season. He broke the rookie record for the most average receiving yards per game. Of course, he had the viral catch on Monday Night Football against Dallas, where he caught the ball with 3 fingers. He was the fastest to 200 receptions, fastest to 4,000 yards receiving. I mean, he was on a fast track to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he was the best receiver in the game. He was then what Justin Jefferson is now, maybe even more so. And then we just kind of saw what happened after the fame got to. I don't want to say the fame got to him because I don't know if that's the case, and maybe it just is it's just the personality Odell always was. But after having 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons to start his career, and then obviously playing in just 4 games in 2017 when he had the injury, then coming back and having 1,000-yard seasons in 2018 and 2019, including his first season in Cleveland. I mean, 5 of his first 6 seasons were 1,000-yard seasons. He was sprinting toward the Hall of Fame. And then in 2020, it kind of started to unravel there in Cleveland. Baker Mayfield was the quarterback, and we know the comments with Odell Sr. about Baker, and he had just 319 receiving yards in 2020. Odell had the injury in that season. Then 21, he played for both Cleveland and the Rams. You all know the story as it's gone, but really since 2019, when he had that 1,000-yard season, In 2020, he was injured. 2021, he played for both Cleveland and the Rams. Lack of production really, but got the Super Bowl, missed all of last season. And you really look now and go, if this is the final season for Odell, like, has he put together a Hall of Fame career? And he's going to be a fascinating test case because he had everything. The Rookie of the Year, all of those wide receiver records. He got a $95 million contract, and then he became an enigma. And he was criticized for, proposing to the kicking net and all the things that everybody talks about all the time. But the talent, the ability when he was healthy and right is also undeniable. So I think Odell is probably going to, for his benefit, will have to be viewed through the lens that a guy like Terrell Davis did. A guy who didn't have a long career, but the career he had was otherworldly. But is it enough? Maybe. And maybe it will be. Odell, just for context, Odell has 7,000, let's see, I have it here. Forgive me. Odell's career receiving yardage is 7,367. You don't need to memorize this or anything. I'm telling you this for context. So 7,367 is Odell's career receiving yards. The only Hall of Famer with fewer receiving yards is Lynn Swann, 54.62. And the ones that are near him are guys like Bob Hayes, 74.14, Drew Pearson, 78.22, Bobby Mitchell, 79.54. Like guys who played when games were still in black and white and you were listening on the radio. Like in the modern NFL, like, for example, Steve Smith Sr., he'll go in the Hall of Fame. He's got 14,731 receiving yards. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 7th all time. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, my goodness, like, I don't know that. I'm just going to throw out a name here. Wes Welker. Wes Welker, I don't think many people think is a Hall of Famer. He's got 2,000 more receiving yards than Odell. Amani Toomer has 2,000 more receiving yards than Odell Beckham. You know what I mean? Like, Ricky Prohl. Ricky Prohl's got 8,800 receiving yards. He's got 1,000 more receiving yards than Odell Beckham. Actually, 1,500 more receiving yards than Odell Beckham. So that's kind of the problem. Odell's superlatives are undeniable. The cumulative career isn't going to be there because of injury and some of the off-the-field stuff. When the time comes, will the superlatives outweigh the injury and the other off-the-field stuff and get Odell to Canton? He's going to be a fascinating test case. He's going to be, if this is Odell's final season, he's going to have to be judged in a similar way that a guy like Terrell Davis was. Short burn, but man, when it was going, it was white hot and it was awesome to watch. Is it enough? We'll find out in time. All right, it's After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about Shaw Bills. Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. Thanks to everybody who went to the Shaw Bills recruitment event on Friday. If you missed that, no worry, and you're still looking for a job, no worries. You can still apply online or in person at any of the Shaw Bills locations. They are looking for you. A great local business that's been around for more than 50 years. They treat their employees like family. They're family-owned and operated. They got a great benefits package. If you want a career where you can advance, competitive salary with the opportunity to advance, you need to go talk to Shaw Bills. Whether you have tons of experience in automotive service or you're brand new, Shaw Bills wants to talk to you. So go to ShawBillsTire.com. That's ShawBillsTire.com. If you're to learn more, hit the careers tab. You can learn more about all the positions they have open, or you just want to have a conversation with them about it. Shaw Bills wants to talk to you. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Golden Tate has 1,000 more receiving yards than Odell.
It's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Pierre Garçon has more receiving yards.
Okay, see, but that always just reminds me of Chris Berman doing highlights and going French, the French accent when he would do Pierre. Yeah, Pierre Garçon.
Gary Garrison has more receiving yards than Odell Beckham. All right, let's talk to Kat Terrell. Saints camp report next. AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Pluckers. Oh, my goodness. It is almost football season. What is more Americana than wings, beer, and football? Nothing. Not even the Star-Spangled Banner. Close. But wings, beer, and football, way better. Calm down. I'm kidding, all right? Sort of. Get by Pluckers. Tonight and every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. Pay one low price. Eat as many wings as you want all night long. That's every Monday at Pluckers. Football season's right around the bend. The best place to park it every football Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday night action. You better believe it's at Pluckers. With 28 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice-cold draft beer, full-service bar. You go get you a 34-ounce Mother Plucker mug of golden goodness and devour a whole mess of wings tonight. God, that sounds good. It's at Pluckers. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery. Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models at Corval Toyota in Opelousas. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com. Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Hard to believe, man. Saints will be on the practice field Wednesday. Camp is here. Kat Terrell, ESPN.com. Good enough to join us for a couple minutes. Give us a camp preview and rundown. Good write-up today over at ESPN.com. If you want to read Kat's camp preview, go do it there. Hey, Kat, how are you?
I'm doing great. I can't believe it's almost time for training camp. I don't think I'm ready yet. I think I need more time.
Do you think when do you think for the players that it just as long as you've been doing this and covering not only the Saints but the Bengals in your time as well, but like when do you think it actually like hits the players and they actually find a rhythm? At what point of camp?
That's a great question. One I'll actually have to ask some players. I mean, I expect it takes at least a week because before you put the pads on, it's almost like it's not training camp. Especially for the offensive and defensive linemen. I mean, like you can watch them, but you're not really learning anything until there's pads, and that comes on day 3 or 4. So, I mean, it probably takes a week.
Yeah. Do you think
person?
Just the have you noticed any progression during the off-season work, your minicamp, OTAs, all that sort of stuff, or any notable progression with any player or position group?
Maybe not position group yet. I feel like when you're watching practice, you end up fixating on, certain players or position groups. So you don't always see it all at once. But then I feel like certain players just keep making themselves stand out. I feel like DeMarco Jackson had a lot of nice plays in June. And, that doesn't always translate to July, but that was one guy that stood out to me. As I was saying earlier, the offensive line, I really can't say anything about him from June. But, I'll be watching the wide receivers a lot and the cornerbacks a lot. Alontae Taylor is another player that, you can't help but notice, obviously, after last year. And so I feel like he's going to be someone who makes himself known again. But I don't know that I saw significant progression from any position group yet.
I think I could say, you said you'd be watching the wide receiver and the cornerbacks. I look at that as two of the deeper positions on the team. So when you say you're going to be watching those two position groups, what specifically are you going to be looking for?
Well, the cornerbacks, you want to see who's going to step up at slot, how they're using their cornerbacks. I do think the corners are a deep group. I think that you'll probably see some guys that are listed as DBs who can play multiple positions. They love doing that. They love their positionless players. The wide receivers, it's interesting. I don't know that I feel like it's a deep group because when you look at the 3 main guys, there's a big drop-off after that. But you could probably say that for any team. I mean, you're not going to have 5 outstanding wide receivers. I think I feel that way with the Saints because there's just so much unknown. Chris Olave is going to be good, but you don't know what you're getting out of Michael Thomas. Rashid Shaheed has the potential to be very good, but he has to take that step up in year 2, and that doesn't always happen. And then after that, it's kind of like, okay, well, there's multiple guys that can make the team, but no real standouts yet. But, that's what training camp is for.
Yeah. She's on Twitter at @_Terrell, ESPN.com. Make sure you give her a follow. I feel like I'm obligated to ask you some Derek Carr question. I just don't know what Derek Carr question to ask. I mean, does that make sense? I mean, he's a veteran guy. Like, what is his training camp going to be for Derek Carr?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is are his teammates going to buy in? That's so important with a quarterback. And last year, I thought it was just so odd in so many ways. Jameis was hurt and coming back. I feel like, I don't remember if it was OTAs or minicamp, but there was the whole uproar about him limping. And then, he came back for training camp and he immediately, or not immediately, but right before the season got hurt and then got hurt again. And then it was the whole, whose team is it? Jameis Winston's or Andy Dalton's? That went on forever. And when quarterback doesn't feel like it's truly his team, I think that's got to affect how you play in a lot of ways. So I think when you talk about Derek Carr, the fact that he and Michael Thomas teamed up clicked immediately is huge because Michael Thomas is going to be one of your most important players if you're getting the full potential of Michael Thomas. So that's big. And also, Carr has talked about how he felt like he didn't give the Raiders enough last year. Maybe he couldn't compartmentalize everything that was happening. And so he feels like he needs to do better this year. And players always say that. But, can he wipe that away and start over here and be successful. And I think he can, but, it's just the chemistry's got to come together over the next few weeks and months.
I know at ESPN.com on your piece was asked the most impactful addition, and you said Derek Carr, and that's obviously the answer. If you couldn't say Derek Carr, who would you say? Either free agent or rookie?
Oh, that's a good question. I've said before that I feel like Isaiah Foskey has the potential to be the most impactful rookie because of the nature of the position he plays. I think you'd love for him to be, although that would probably mean that Peyton Turner is not moving forward in year 3. So kind of, I guess it's how you look at it. But, he has the potential to, really impact his position and the team. I don't know if the other rookies have as much potential to do that, if that makes sense. Like, I think Brissy is going to play a lot, but, when you draft a defensive end high, you expect him to generate a pass rush. You expect him to be disruptive. And you can do that, the most from the edge rusher position usually. And so, I feel like Foskey has the ability to gain a starting role really quickly. I mean, he's got to beat out Turner and he's got to beat out Carl Granderson, basically, right? So that would be my pick, but doesn't mean he will, but I think he could be that guy.
I got a couple of more. Ear to ground, are you here? Like, I'm really interested in the last 2 first-round picks, not Chris Olave, but Trevor Penning and Peyton Turner. Like, we're getting close to having to label Turner a bust, just a miss. Are you hearing anything about optimism in either of those 2 guys heading into this camp?
We were talking to, Saints coaches and front office guys at the Senior Bowl. And, I feel like there's a lot of talk about Peyton Turner was hurt. And I also remember, I feel like it was Jeff Ireland saying he needed to be the right size. So I don't know if that meant, he was overweight or underweight or what's going on. But I thought it was interesting. It was kind of like, does that mean Turner's not doing the right thing? Does that mean his injury impacted that? So I don't know. I feel like we don't hear about Peyton Turner at all anymore, which is the last thing you want from a first-round pick, right? The guy to just so I don't know. I feel like I never hear about him at all except for fans.
Wow. So
it's not good. You don't want to fade into obscurity as a former first-round pick. And I think you asked about Penning as well. Yeah, I think with Penning it's different. I think there's a lot of optimism. I think I don't remember him. Wrong. Sorry, I'm trying to remember a lot of players, but I don't remember him coming in to the NFL with a ton of injury history. I know the injuries he had last year he had not had before, so it's not like he's re-injuring the same old injuries. But 2 major injuries in 1 year, that's definitely not great. But I would chalk that up. Maybe it's just really bad luck. I think he's a guy that they probably love for him to take that starting left tackle spot. I mean, they're still in a good position with James Hurst, but I think that he's going to compete with Hurst for that spot. I don't know if the Saints are willing to hand it to him yet, but I think that's the guy they want to be their left tackle of the future. So optimistic.
That would be massive if he won that job over the next month in camp. Last thing, Kat Terrell's with us, ESPN.com. She's on Twitter at @Kat_Terrell. Make sure you give her a follow. You did publish your projected 53-man roster, which is the first of, I'm sure, many that you'll have to do at this point, but it's a good jumping off point. What was, if you had to say, the hardest decision or hardest decisions that you had to make whenever you were making this 53-man roster? What would you say?
Well, I'll go through them really quick. I thought offensive line there was really no surprises there. I would say that for defensive line too. Those are pretty boring. Tight end, it kind of came down to, are they going to keep 3 or 4? I put Lucas Kroll on there, but I think that's iffy. I was talking about this earlier. Wide receiver, there's 3 guys that I'm like, they could make the roster, they could not. Someone in camp has to step up. I think Traquan might, because of, he's a blocking receiver. But it's not a given. There's probably cheaper guys out there. Traquan is expensive, but he makes more than maybe like a rookie would. And the last two, I put Brian Edwards and A.C. Perry on there. But it's really kind of pick your poison right now, and I think it comes down to maybe who has the best relationship with Derek Carr by the end of training camp. Because Drew Brees used to get guys on that team at that 5th or 6th spot just because he liked them. Yeah. I think the same could happen with Carr. I mean, you just want a receiver you're comfortable with. So Edwards has a history with Carr, but it doesn't mean by any means that he's a lock to make the roster.
Yeah, for me, which receivers after Chris Olave, I know everybody's optimistic about Michael Thomas, but when you haven't played in 3 years, I'm skeptical. It could be a little to me. I'm like, it could be anybody. Olave,
yeah, absolutely, and that's not great, right?
But you can look at it. You can look at it two ways, though, right? I mean, yes, it's not great, but you also have a ton of options, and someone has to materialize, right? I mean, someone in that group has to step up and have a big year.
I will say, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom because the Saints have a ton of pass-catching options. I mean, and they're going to have to get the ball to all of these guys, to Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara, Foster Moreau, a ton of options outside the receivers. So it might not matter so much who the 5th or 6th guy is if they optimize and spread the ball out like they used to do and be so successful. So it's not like a completely bad thing. It's just kind of like, ooh, the end of that wide receiver group is not great in July, but maybe in August we're talking a different story. There's always some training camp superstar that comes along this time of the year that everyone falls in love with, makes the roster, and then we never hear from him again. So I'm looking forward to that.
We'll start to get those answers on Wednesday. That is not where I thought you were going with that comment. I thought it was going to be somebody who's a star and makes the team, and we never hear from again, but I guess there are always those people.
Oh, I could list so many of these guys, and you'd be like, who?
Do it, go. Do it, go. I want to hear
it.
Go.
Salim Hakeem, Andy Tanner. I don't know if Nick Toon counts. There was a guy a few years ago that fans were obsessed with. I can't remember his name right now. Oh, man. I'll have to send you a list later. I can think of a couple.
It was worth it for Andy Tanner. That is one of the Drew Brees got this guy a job. But you know what? Then there's always who is the running back? Who is the running back? A couple of years ago who had the great preseason game against Baltimore, and then
Jaguars.
Was it Tony Jones?
I think Jones made the roster, but Tony Jones made the roster after they cut the 2 veteran guys they brought in, and then the 2 veteran guys went on to sign with the Ravens, and they both had like 500 or 600 yards that year, and the Saints had to trade for Mark Ingram. And
Tony Jones played in like one game and he was awful.
Yeah,
right?
Well, he injured Teron Armstead's elbow. It was not great.
No.
But, the Saints, I guess, defense, like the way training camp played out, I understood those decisions at the time, but that did not play out well. And then they had to go trade for Mark Ingram, and oh man! But no, there was a receiver a few years ago, a running back that fans loved, and he did go on to have some success. I'll remember his name in a minute, I'm sure, after I'm off the air and people are like, why can't you remember this player's name?
Text it to me, but it was worth it for the Andy Tanner poll. It was the question was totally worth it. Kat, Terrell, reader stuff at ESPN.com. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, we'll see you later. It's After Further Review. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge online, and Southwest Volkswagen in Lafayette. So if you're listening to us on 103.7 ESPN or ESPN, I keep getting the numbers and the letters confused. It'll happen. ESPN 103.7. You can go check out our friends at Southwest Volkswagen. But remember, South Point Volkswagen is Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer. They're on Airline just north of Highland. 2 years free maintenance on every new vehicle at South Point Volkswagen, and there are more on the way. With the 2024 inventory en route, you can reserve yours before it even gets to the lot. Go to SouthPointVW.com for South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? All right, we will have tons, obviously, of Saints camp talk here starting tomorrow when they report, and then Wednesday when they hit the field. So really looking forward to Saints camp and the NFL season, preseason getting underway here a week from Thursday. Hard to believe Hall of Fame game is a week from Thursday. It's incredible. It's here. All right, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll continue, and we'll get to what we learned as well before we get out of here. No otter locks. Jimmy's out, and we just decided to save everybody's bank accounts this year. Last year when he did his 2 weeks or his month in Del Mar, and he completely face planted on all of his bets. Like, no, I'm just not interested in your picks this year. So we'll do otter locks again when he gets back. It's AFR.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,500 off MSRP on all new 23 Ram 1500 Laramie trucks in stock. All with Bayou's 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Dylan Cruz here to tell you about Six Rings Baseball and Softball Camp. If you live on the North Shore and play ball, go to Six Rings Camps with former LSU assistant coach Dan Canaveri. His knowledge is second to none, and your child will improve and have fun doing it. Camps were held at Coquille Park and Six Rings Academy in Covington with 4 sessions over the summer. Full day and morning only sessions are available from ages 7 to 13. Go to sixringsbaseball.com or call 985-206-9096. Learn the game to love the game.
Here at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get $1,000 special edition bonus cash. $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Congratulations to Dylan Cruz. Signed his contract with the Washington Nationals and was introduced by the organization over the weekend. He got $9 million, his signing bonus. The second largest signing bonus ever, behind only his former teammate Paul Skeens, who got $9.2 million with Pittsburgh. So I know this is going to be somewhat repetitive. It's all things that we've thought and said, but a couple things. Number one, Dylan Cruz bet on himself, and it totally paid off. He wanted $6 million coming out of high school. No team gave it to him. He said, all right, I'm going to go to LSU. Did, and ends up 3 years later essentially making himself an additional $1 million per year, higher than the number he wanted, which is a sensational testimony to not only the talent and the person and everything like that, but obviously the benefits of some for going to college. Now, yes, that worked out tremendously for Dylan Cruz. But the flip side of it is there's always players as well. Mo Hampton is the other side of that story. A guy who passed on millions coming out of high school, and it didn't work out for him. So every player's got to make his own decision, but it's getting, I think, easier and easier. Let me rephrase that. The compelling case to go to school just grows every year. When you see the signing pool bonuses go up, the resources put into college baseball, and college baseball players fast-tracking through the minors to Major League Baseball because the college game is better and it's more big league preparatory than what it used to be when college baseball was dudes holding rocket launchers in their hands and just clubbing 40 homers. So it's great to see. I feel good for Dylan Cruz. It was great to see him have this opportunity this weekend and sign his deal. And now LSU, what a distinction, having the two highest signing bonuses ever in baseball coming from the same team. So congrats to Dylan Cruz, now a member officially of the Washington Nationals. My assumption is it won't be long before he himself is in the big league with the big team there in Washington. All right, it's after further review. It was a massive deal in the social media world that happened yesterday. I want to give you a quick thought on it. Let me remind you about Mold Zero. Mold-0USA.com, mold-0USA.com. Kill mold, remove odor, other pathogens as well. Mold Zero can help you do it. It's cost efficient. It's certainly safer, and it's quicker as well. Generally speaking, most jobs, they can be in and out in a day, less than a full day. But if it's your home, office building, apartment complex, workout facility, gym, locker room, maybe you're a high school, you got a football locker room, and you all know the smell of a football locker room. Let Mold Zero come in, spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. It'll kill all of the pathogens in there, including removing the odor. It's Mold Zero. Learn more, mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com. So, real quick, because I don't want to run out of time. You'll probably saw this. Twitter is a huge part of sports. At some point along the way, and I don't know if this metric has changed, but at one point in the past years, I read a statistic where roughly 65% of Twitter's usage, interaction, tweets were about sports. And it makes sense because Twitter has become, and I know not everybody tweets, but Twitter is kind of like the social media water cooler or the sports bar, where as you're watching a game, a live sporting event, you go tweet about it while it's happening. So not only does news break on Twitter, but people live tweet during games. You can see usage spikes during. So I'm explaining something I think many of you understand, and many of you probably have Twitter accounts. And even if you're not tweeting, you're following people on Twitter to get information, news, and insights and opinions and all that sort of stuff. Well, otherwise I probably wouldn't bring this up, but Elon Musk rebranded Twitter to X, just the letter X. The little blue bird is going away and being replaced by the black X. And that's something that they're rolling out and will continue to roll out, ultimately to get rid of all of the little Twitter bird, and it'll go to X. Listen, he's a billionaire. He's the richest man in the world. He's obviously smart and savvy and brilliant and all that sort of stuff, and he knows what he's doing. And I think the user experience on Twitter has gotten better since Elon Musk has bought it. A lot of people complained about the blue checkmark thing. That doesn't bother me at all. I like Twitter Blue. I think it's a great property where you can have longer tweets. You have the edit button. You can post long-form videos. There's plenty of great functional benefits to it. So there's a lot. I think it's been great. And I know a lot of people sort of reacted when Instagram launched Threads. And the thing that I said a couple days after Threads launched was that I thought it was like the Threads was going to be like the XFL, the original XFL. And if you remember the original XFL back in 2000, there was so much intrigue, and the ratings that opening weekend were massive. But the product wasn't good. And every week subsequently, the ratings were cut in half. Well, if you look at Threads usage, week to week, it's down like 43%. And I think the reason is obvious. It was easy to onboard people because if you have an Instagram account, all you got to do is go tap, and you had a Threads account. So they had 100 million users on board very quickly. And that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it was very easy to do. It was just tap from your Instagram account and you had a Threads account. And so there was intrigue in the new thing, but the user experience on Threads stunk. We've all become accustomed to using Twitter and having a For You feed and a lot of other functionality that over more than a decade has proven to be what people want with their user experience that Threads didn't do. And in time, they may get there, but for so many, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So people came, they didn't like their experience, and they left. And it's going to be hard to get people back. Which brings me back to the Elon thing. I don't know why you would change the brand of Twitter to X. And in time, it may prove to be a brilliant thing. But when you have something, when you've built so much brand around that app, why you would just flush that brand is so, it's interesting to me. I would love to know an explanation why. I mean, we've literally turned that brand into a verb. Tweeting is a verb that is universally understood. That goes away. What are we, Xing now? Whatever. I mean, I'm still going to use the platform. I wonder if people will still just call it Twitter and tweeting and all that sort of stuff. Or how long it takes to implement this rebrand. It's just really interesting why I just know doing this for a living, how hard it is to build brand. It is. It's very, very difficult and takes a tremendous amount of time and sweat equity, and there's nothing you can really fast track when it comes to building brand. And to just give that up is, it's interesting to me. I'm not saying it won't work. It's just I don't know why he would do that. But in any event, Twitter rebranding to X. So I guess we'll just live X our shows and sporting events and whatnot. But anyway, we'll still be there unless something changes. But I'm at Matt Moscona, so go ahead and give me a follow there. I'd appreciate it. All right, it's After Further Review. Putting a button here on a Monday edition. Been a really good one. Monday shows is always presented by Relief Windows. We'll knock out a final break of the show, come back, wrap up with a little what we learned. Stick around, AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by the Renaissance Hotel and the Watermark Hotel. Two beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge. The Watermark downtown, the Renaissance in Southtown. The Watermark. Hey, look, Baton Rouge Best Dress Ball is coming up in a couple of weeks. And a lot of people, because that's in downtown, choose to stay at the Watermark downtown around Best Dress. Maybe you go check into the Watermark. You can get dressed, get ready there at the Watermark, have a great cocktail at the bar in the Watermark Hotel, and you could walk. I mean, it's so convenient to the River Center. You can just walk to the River Center for the event and then walk back. You don't have to worry about driving. The Watermark Hotel is gorgeous. If you've never been inside, it is so worth it. Even if you're not planning to stay the night, just plan a dinner at the Gregory inside of the Watermark. Plan to be downtown and just have a cocktail at the bar in the lobby. Experience all the architecture that they've maintained. They're inside the old Louisiana National Bank building that they've converted into this beautiful hotel property with all the modern amenities. It is awesome. It's the Watermark Hotel in downtown Baton Rouge. Make sure you try the Gregory restaurant inside the Watermark.
Here at Corval Toyota in Opelousas, we have in stock 2023 Toyota Tundras, and you can get $1,000 special edition bonus cash. $1,000 bonus cash. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
When it comes to ending cancer, we push forward, always working together for you. That's why our cancer experts at Ochsner have clinically integrated with MD Anderson Cancer Center. This means advanced cancer care, including access to life-saving clinical trials and integrating care to treat the whole you. Introducing Ochsner MD Anderson Cancer Center. Long live you.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
When is a taco more than just a taco? When it's Government Taco. Voted best tacos 3 years in a row by 225 Magazine, Government Taco puts the most delicious spin on tacos the capital area has ever seen. With creative combinations like the Magna Carrot, the Filibuster, or the Steak of the Union. Plus perfect tortilla chips paired with the best salsa and queso you've ever had. And happy hour every day from 3 to 6 p.m. and all day on Thursday. Government Taco, 5621 Government Street.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. By the way, shout out, thanks to my guy Stevie Levy, the king of the wing over at Pluckers. I did the read a bit ago. It's anniversary week. Tonight is $1 wings and $2 pints. Oh. That's even better than all-you-can-eat wings.
Is it still all-you-can-eat wings?
Yeah, but I mean, that's...
At $1?
Yeah.
It's a hell of a deal right there.
Oh.
I like that.
$1 wings and $2 pints.
It's dangerous.
Get on by. Remember, you can always text the show in the 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. John said, so what did Musso think about the Barbie movie?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it, actually. Didn't it, just come out this past weekend?
You're asking me?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You're asking me about a movie.
I want to see Oppenheimer. That movie looks awesome.
You just missed a great opportunity also to play the Barbie Girl trial.
Well, it's on the... Oh, wait. I was going to say it was on the same button bar as the bed that's playing right now, but I forgot I had it on both.
Yeah.
Help your friend.
He's slacking.
What?
Get it together, Moose.
We got 6 minutes left. It's...
We have 2 minutes.
True.
Paul, what is he... I mean... Brownies?
think it was gummies today.
Wow, it's been a minute since we've gone there.
Wow.
It has been a minute since we've gone with the weed bit. I'm not going to lie. It was neither of those things. I'm checked out like Tom Brady. Checked out like Tom Brady, man.
My goodness gracious.
Bring on Baker Mayfield.
I mean, you realize media days are gone, bro. Like, it's football time.
Yeah.
You better lock in.
Yeah. We'll try to be better tomorrow for the Saints opening camp.
Did you ever remember when Peyton Manning hosted SNL? Did you ever see that and they did the United Way spoof bit?
Was that when he was just pegging the little kids with the football?
It's
fantastic.
Get your head out of your ass! That's what I want to get that on a button. Oh, man. Let's see. And then Jono said, does Otter really go to Del Mar every year? Does he want to try something new or different? No, I think he's quite content to go where the surf meets the turf and watch the ponies run and bet during the day and
wear the fedora,
drink and eat at night. And yeah, I think he's quite content doing that. All right. We're just about to get out of here. Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows. Thanks for being here. Remember, you miss anything, AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Muse, what did you learn on the show today? We haven't done what you learned. Normally, Otter just takes the whole time.
Yes, that is normally exactly what happens. Well, look, I learned that Caleb Williams predicted that USC was going to go to the college football playoff, kind of. He didn't really predict it.
All right, Muse is going to do better tomorrow, or at least he'll try to. Paulie, what did you learn?
I learned that Ross Dellinger now works at Yahoo Sports.
How did you miss that last week?
I did not see that.
Muse! Oh, my God! Lock in! The Saints worked out Kyle Phillips. We'll see you tomorrow.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, I'm reminded about DraftKings, official sports betting partner of AFR. And right now, oh my goodness, right now, new customers, how about it? Make a $5 bet on anything, and they'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly. You got to download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you got to use the promo code Baton Rouge. One word, Baton Rouge, put together. Make a $5 bet on anything. Futures, NBA, NFL bets, futures, college football bets, MLB money lines. It doesn't matter. $5 bet on anything with the promo code Baton Rouge. They'll give you $150 in bonus bets instantly. Remember, stepped up same game parlays for everybody. Got to opt in and make sure you use that promo code Baton Rouge when you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app with the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Select pairs only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/baseball terms. Licensed partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-426-2537.
Bayou Ford has $8,000 off MSRP, plus 1.9% financing on new 23 Ford F-150 XLT trucks, along with Bayou Ford's 1 million-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Rev Business started small in 1935. We built our reputation by providing hometown service with Louisiana hustle. For nearly 90 years, we've expanded across our great state, through the swamps and across the Mississippi, bringing fiber optics from the capital to the North Shore and down the bayou to the coast, all to connect your business with the world. Rev is about big business technology with small business personal service, powerful solutions, unmatched local service. Rev Business.
The importance of doing this fortified program and offering it to people down here is, number one, the only real chance you're going to get to do this is when you put on a new roof or build new. And through companies like HUDCO, who's kind of leading the way in this thing, it's going to offer the customers a huge advantage in the insurance market and the price of their insurance.
You know, we're not looking to make a fortune off fortifying. We're trying to give you a better product than our competitor at the moment. I'm trying to do something that he can. I'm trying to give you something better. So a lot of these insurance shops, you're getting a re-roof, you're only paying your deductible. Let's sit down and talk about the fortified and let's see what it does to your insurance premium. You're getting a steal.
Yeah.
You're getting a brand new roof and a fortified certificate for your deductible, essentially. And I think we're rocking and rolling.